Petroleum is a southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Sorry to scare you in the shower. Mother sent me to tell you that Future Vision is having a big 2-for-1 sale, with international styles arriving daily.
Future Vision. Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those eyes?
Oh, and Future Vision is a proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2023.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Callan Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit KELLNsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
On Rough Riders, plunge right through that line. March the ball on down the field, a touchdown every time. Oh, Rough Riders, fight on for your fame. Fight, fellows, fight, and we will win.
He does. Voted on by the Sportscage Nation as their favorite Rider song. Or if it wasn't voted on, that's the one we wanted them to vote on. On Rough Riders, we're on to Monday. We are on to Winnipeg and the West Final. Welcome to another week of the Sportscage. Barney Shinkerick, Derek Bidwell, CNC Production Factory over there. We are with you for the next 3 hours. What a weekend. What a weekend. Not only do the Riders mop the BC Lions at Mosaic Stadium, the U of R Rams somehow pull it off in dramatic fashion in Manitoba. Up north, the Huskies pull it off in UBC. We got a clash, the Hardy Cup in an all-Saskatchewan matchup. High school football around the province. It's just unbelievable football weekend. I know that term is overused, and I love overusing it, but who cares? Coming up in the next 3 hours with Bidsy and I, Dave Thomas momentarily. We'll talk about the game. We'll get through that. Eric Francis an hour or two. We'll talk a little hockey. First Battle of Alberta was yesterday. What a bad day to have it, if you ask me, going up against NFL football. But we'll talk to Francis about the game and other things when it comes to the NHL. Trevor Harris, our starting quarterback, joins us. We usually have the coaches show Mondays at 4:40. Today it's the Trevor Harris show. He's going to be right here if you got any questions for him. We might pick a few out from the studio audience. Capital Ford Lincoln text line, 936-6262. Hour 3, Darian Durant, our former Rider quarterback, is with us. And then Brennan McGuire, also in Hour 3, the play-by-play voice of the U of R Rams. We'll talk about that cuckoo finish in Manitoba. Bidsy, another week. Good to be back. How was the sideline trotting for you? Exciting down there. Must have been just palpable, as they say.
Yeah, as they say, you could feel it. It was a real energy. I know it wasn't a sellout at Mosaic Stadium for the West semifinal, but this is fact, Shink, that the people that were there cranked it up. It would almost was like the energy, the noise that they were producing was enough for two. It was so loud. I took my headset off a couple of times on the sideline just when they were trying to make a lot of noise to try to get VA and the BC Lions offense rattled, and they were able to do it a couple times, and it was so loud. It was amazing. I just wish it was a sellout, but those that were there really came to just kind of basically root their team on to victory, do all they can, and they did. It was a great crowd.
They were smaller but mighty. That's what it was loud, right? Like I was sitting there thinking, like, how loud would this be if it was totally jam-packed in here? But the people, like you said, awesome. They brought it. They were loud. Yep. We have a Coach Mace clip coming up here. Colson's just efforting to get that going, where he talks about that. It was really loud at field level. I was in the just at the in between.
You're going to say in the luxury suites, weren't you?
I was in the Harvard suite, for a bit. Then I went over to I was in the back behind Pill Country for a bit. Then I was on the other side. Then I realized I was getting cold. And then I'm like, I got to find Harvard 620 for the post game was great. But was it really loud at field level?
It was extremely loud. It was great. A couple of times, like I said, I took my headset off and I just turned around. I just wanted to have the feeling of being down there on the field and looking up and seeing everybody on their feet, banging on drums, banging on the seats. Guys were reaching over and banging on the advertisements on the front of the stands. They were just banging on anything, jumping up and down. If it was full, I honestly got goosebumps, like just absorbing it and being there for it. If it was a full house, it would have been incredible. But once again, kudos, hats off, salute to all the fans that did show up. They brought it. And now, of course, we get to root on our Riders for another week.
In the post-game show, Coach Mace talking to the fellas, he did talk about the crowd.
I mean, we got a time count today. Rider Nation, man, freaking love you guys. You was out there loud as ever. It's the loudest we've heard you all year, and it helped make a difference. Overall, man, I thought, it might not have been as a sexy, complimentary football game, but when we needed teams, the three phases to step up, we did. I'm just very proud of the guys, man. They battled through. Some guys were nicked up. They just kept pushing, made big plays for us. Timing was impeccable.
What was weather like down? Wind and weather, I guess, because we were trying. A couple of us were talking, and I was like, "Well, yeah, you see that the flags on the goalposts are blowing that way," but I'm like, "Yeah, you go down to that field, and weird things are going on down there." And I thought that played into a couple decisions, and a couple of the punts, especially.
Mm-hmm. I think it absolutely did. And you know what, Chink? It was weird. It was swirling. You just, when you thought you knew which way it was going, then all of a sudden I was just on the sidelines and boom, it came from the side, and you're like, wow, that was a blast of wind, and it was coming from the side. So it was so bizarre that it was doing that, and it was circling and it was going in different directions. But the wind, even though you're, like I said, you're below grade, you're about 4 stories, I think, below ground level. It still is a factor down there, and it does some weird things. Saskatchewan wind in the Queen City. It's prevalent, even with the field sunken down low like that. It does play a factor.
Played down there and coached down there, and it is. And then, like you said, in the summer, it's extremely hot. It's way hotter than other places. No, it's good. The other clip we had that I pulled from the post game, which I thought was funny. There's a couple of them here, but Coach Mace starts. He talks about the Gatorade shower they gave him and how that's like a little. It's almost reminded me of like baseball. It's like, what are we celebrating? Oh, we got into the playoffs. Coach Mace was like, Chikai, a little premature on the Gatorade shower.
I told these guys after week 2, I think they got me again. I said, guys, listen, I'm good on these actually until if we get to where we want to get to, then please fire away. But yeah, anyway, man, I'm so pleased and so happy with for the guys.
Coach, we do a 3 keys to the game thing every single pregame show. What were some of the priorities for you coming into this game that you felt you needed to do in order to get past the BC Lions, which were a good team?
Yeah, I think the main thing, obviously, is just being able to try to control VA and that receiving core and what they do. We felt pretty confident in, if they wanted to rely on the run game, that would be okay. But we just obviously assume that they try to attack us through the air. And, our DBs and, obviously our coaches as well, outstanding job, just waiting, capitalizing, making them earn everything for the most part outside of that first drive. And then, the D-line was, they were rolling, getting after it, getting Vernon off the spot, force him into a couple bad throws, and then, when we need to capitalize on those turnovers like we have all year, the guys did. So that was the main thing, I think, defensively. Then offense to be able to control the game. Obviously, we got the two horses in the backfield with Armstead and AJ. I thought they did a good job with that from that standpoint. And then, of course, it's Trevor Harris and the receiving core, man. It was a good performance.
Yeah, let's bring him in here. Voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas. Dave, come on, let's be honest. Were you surprised with the Gatorade shower?
Shocked, absolutely shocked. It blew my mind. I looked down and I'm like, "Whoa, this isn't going to go so well." And I'm glad that Coach May said, "Yeah, you know what? We got bigger things." And again, I guess the reaction was predictable.
Yeah. We're getting some texts coming in here on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer, capitalfordlincoln.com. Brandon right off the hop says, what a game. Right from the coin toss. Ranks right up there with best ever. Keep it going. 2 more. Yeah, you know it. Brandon in White City. 2 more.
I got a quick question for you guys. Sorry, just let me interject real quick if you don't mind. I'm just going to ask you guys about the Gatorade shower. Do you think that it's okay to do that if you win the West Final or the East Final? Or in the NFL, it would be winning the AFC or the NFC and going on to the Super Bowl. Or do you only think it's for when you win the Grey Cup, you win the Super Bowl, the final game?
No.
I don't believe you touched the trophy
no.
And no Gatorade. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's weird. And you don't see it. You don't. I'm trying to think. You don't see it in any other sport. Usually not football. This has never happened before, except for baseball, where they celebrate before you win the grand prize. Unless I'm wrong. Anybody in the room? Double C's? Anything? Any other sport where you like golf, you don't celebrate after your third round leader into the Masters. Here's him celebrating last night. No. Hockey, you don't. Maybe getting into the playoffs, you go out for a couple of pints. Basketball, I don't really know a lot about. They got load management. Sometimes they don't celebrate. Anybody?
Automobile racing.
Well, in hockey, I suppose.
NASCAR.
In hockey, they kind of do, though, don't they? They decide whether or not they're going to pose with the trophy. It's bad luck. There's a little bit of a presentation there, but maybe not necessarily a huge celebration.
If you poured Gatorade on a hockey coach after winning the West or the East, you might get your eyes pumped shut. It's like, we still got 7 games, boys. We still got 7 games. No, and I think that's what Mace was getting at, and it's probably just somebody, lack of judgment at the time. And they're going back, they probably wouldn't do it. Coach Mace handled it so well. Yeah, it's just, it really jumped as soon as I saw it. I was like, I don't think, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to like this. But Dave, let's go to the game, and you're calling it, and you're prepping for it, putting in all the hard work. Does that game go the way Dave Thomas thought it would?
Yes and no. I thought that BC, again, their offense was so explosive all year. I thought that they would have been able to go ahead and make more big plays. I thought that they would have 2 to 3 in them. I'm not complaining that they didn't, but really, aside from that 56-yard reception by Javon Catoy in the first drive of the football game, BC just didn't have anything at all. I was not surprised the way that the Saskatchewan Roughriders contained Vernon Adams Jr. There was a huge emphasis on that all week to not just get pressure, but to get smart pressure, right? Not to run by him. So I thought the defense did a terrific job as far as that goes. The Rider offense, I was a little bit surprised. I thought that they would have gone a little more run heavy than what they actually did, but it worked out terrifically, right? Trevor Harris was like a surgeon, just picking apart and finding pieces for the Rider offense to bit and bite, if you will, at the defense of the BC Lions. And I was a little surprised at Sean White. Like, he is the special teams player of the year in the West Division. And let's face it, that first touchdown, he doinks the convert. So it's instead of 7, it's 6. He had another opportunity to make a field goal to draw the Lions within 1, and he didn't do it. So those are the things that kind of jumped off of me as being surprises or out of the ordinary for the norm of what the teams had put up through 18 regular season games.
It's funny. I was with our tech extraordinaire Mosh for that game, and Sean White misses that. Mosh was throwing some colorful comments out there. He was being a fan. It was fantastic. But then we see what White did, and then he's like, I didn't expect that. Like, I'm heckling him hard, but didn't expect that. It was out of character, but anything can happen. Like Bidsy, you talked about, the wind swirls down there. Things, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Something else I was going to say that was surprising, if we're just talking about surprising, throwing out that what surprised me on the sidelines too is when VA kicked the ball. That's what surprised me too. When Vernon Adams kicked the ball on that particular play, I thought it was actually a really clever call. But that definitely surprised me on that particular play.
And where he put it, like that,
yeah,
he placed it perfectly. Again, people maybe get sick of it, but I go back to watching a lot of New England Patriots games, and that was something that they would do. It would have been Brady's like that first 10 years for sure, that they would make it look like they were gambling, or sometimes they would punt on third down just to really pin them. Like, weird, right? But that caught me off guard. And then I was
don't forget that play. That wasn't the design of the play, right? Like, it worked out for the best for the BC Lions. They absolutely, were able to flip the field, and the Riders, instead of giving up 2, actually gave up more. But that play was actually an onside punt. Yeah, that wasn't VA trying to pin the Riders deep.
Yeah,
he hit the ball. He kicked it too hard. The quarterback kicked the football too hard. So the play was onside all the way. They took a look, and you could see him recognizing where the strong side and the weak side of the defense was, and that's why they went ahead and they moved everybody in the direction behind him that they did. And it was an onside call.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's actually a really clever play. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that way of thinking. Kind of like when Montreal's done that pooch kick or drop down kick or whatever, which we haven't seen much, which I think is an fascinating rule to take advantage of.
The drop kick
in the CFL. Yeah, it's like where they just throw it out to the receiver and he drops it quickly and kicks it, right, Dave?
Well, yeah. So in Montreal, the guy that did that all the time was running back Jeshron Antry, who, of course, was traded to the BC Lions. And that was one of the things that I had prepped, was waiting to see if BC was going to go ahead and bring this play up, because he's a guy that has done it successfully 2 out of 3 times. So I thought, okay, but BC didn't even go to him. They barely went to William Stanbeck, which was surprising as well.
You talked about, the Riders, maybe we expected them to run more, especially that 24 hours leading up when we found out that both of those running backs were going to be in. We talked about it on the show, and we're, okay, well now, have fun. How are you going to key on it? But maybe it was, okay, the BC Lions were going to key on it as well. And then now we let Trevor sling it, and maybe it all played right into how it was going to shake down. with them focusing on the two running backs. I don't know if that's well, but when he then we're fortunate enough to get to talk to him here in about a little over an hour's time. When he has time back there, and he has for the most part all year because the offensive line's done an amazing job, he's as good as anybody.
Well, the two things that I want to add to the conversation, first of all, the old shuck and jive. Remember that one from the Dukes of Hazzard, right? So they do one thing and then do the other. That's exactly what maybe that two running back system was. Take your eye off the prize, right? And next, you guys are both played the game. You guys have played at high levels. When you look at it, right, and you often hear the game slows down for the athletes, right? Like right now for Trevor Harris, is this game moving in slow motion? And the thing I would love to know is the biggest offensive play of the game I would submit for the Saskatchewan Roughriders was the 30-yard run by A.J. Ouellette into the wind into the third quarter. And that was a play that they had actually used a couple of weeks prior, but they actually threw a screen pass out of it. And Trevor Harris post-game said that, yeah, you know what? I saw what I knew what was coming. I knew it was there. And A.J. Ouellette says during the cadence, Harris somehow tipped him off that it was going to be a handoff in the midst of calling for the football. I'd love to know how that all went down. And like, was it a wink, wink, nudge, nudge? Or like, how does, in the middle of a cadence, do you tell them you're getting the football here?
What? Hey, Bidsy, we can ask, right? We can hear it right from the horse's mouth. So that really, that's very, very, very intriguing, Dave. Guys, stick around, Dave. Let's take a quick break here. Colson has got to keep us on time. It is the all-new Sports Cage. If you're watching that stream on YouTube, it is at sportscage.com. And thanks if you're tuning in and listening on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
Harvard Media really appreciates local businesses. We know you do too, and that's why we're giving away a $50 gift card to a local restaurant right here in Regina. We have a great line of local restaurants lined up, like Bar Willow Eatery, Tommy's Speak Eatery, Lakeshore Restaurant, and Schmitty's Smoked Meats and Catering. These restaurants are great for business lunches, casual get-togethers, or just to go out. All have dine-in or pick-up options. Visit their websites for their latest menus and hours, and tune into our radio stations to find out how to win.
And now diving for Team Rat.
Barry, get down from there!
Why? The family left an entire pot of gravy out here just cooling in the garage.
I know, but it's not for us. Just because they won't call Busy Bee and get their garage door fixed doesn't mean we should take such liberties.
Okay. Whoa! 10 points.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Just get out of there. We just won't tell them.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're gonna be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Get your equipment out of the rain and snow and under the roof of a new storage building from Olympic Buildings. Have a warm, dry place to work and keep everything out of the cold. Olympic Buildings. Buildings to meet your budget. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
A few texts coming in here on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Dwayne from Siemens. Shout out Siemens. Used to love that hockey rink because like one corner of it was an artificial ice. It was like it was artificial ice, and then like the one back part was like natural. I think that's how the story goes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. You used to have to play there though, like Sunday afternoons, like senior. Oh, it was Sunday afternoon. No one wants to go and play, and then Siemens was cold, and I think that was part of the game plan. Anyway, Dwayne says, What a great game to be a part of. They were in section 615, so up there. My wife shook her cowbell so much that she blew the clanger out of it and had to go buy another one. Even where we were, it was extremely loud up there. Yeah, no, it was. Also, Kent said same thing. It was loud where he was sitting. And, yeah, so keep those text messages coming. Also, Leonard chimes in quite a bit here on the Sports Cage. Leonard says the coach is very superstitious. He doesn't want to be jinxed. Yeah, and he doesn't want a Gatorade shower that you've really just won one playoff game. You got 2 more. You got 1 more to even get to the dance. Then you got to beat, I predict, Toronto to win the whole thing.
Wow. Well, you do know that I'm a touch superstitious myself. And for those that are following on the stream at sportscage.com or our YouTube channel, you'll see me looking like a straggly dog, really. Like, I need a haircut, but I haven't cut my hair since the bye week before we beat Calgary at McMahon Stadium. So, of course, we won 4 out of 5 games. I didn't count the Calgary, miscue at the end of the regular season. So I can't cut my hair, and I look terrible.
I thought you were just growing it out, kids, like the kids do.
I did too.
Get the backwards hat with the wingers out the side. Like that's like all the kids nowadays. It's all they worry about. No, but like back to the game. So the Vernon Adams thing, what my eyeballs, no one, you don't have to agree with me, what I saw, because Dave, you said they contained them as they wanted to, as they knew they had to. And then when he had the happy feet and then he let it fly, it's almost like they just baited him perfectly. It's like he's running around. It looks like that guy's open, and then they just converged and shut it down.
Well, Marcus Sales' interception was exactly that. That was the first time he was running and looking to throw. And, full marks to VA because he was a scrambler. And he would rather take off with the ball prior to this season than be patient and wait for things to develop. And that one there, he just really tried to fit in real tough and, again, was trying to make something happen. And when Marcus Sales made that play, how good did that feel for him against his former team, right? But then when he tried to do that again and again, it wasn't working for him. So it was very calculated the way that the Roughriders, I would suggest, attacked Vernon Adams Jr.
You know what I was surprised at, too? I was coming out of the tunnel at the exact same time as some of the guys from the BC Lions were a little bit earlier before the game. And Javon Katoy, he is huge. He is a huge target. He is massive. And when they went to him early, I thought they were going to continue going to him a little bit more. That was obviously the bulk of his yards, his 82 receiving yards. But I was surprised that they didn't try to go to him a little bit more because I think that is a mismatch with a lot of the Riders' secondary once he gets past or if he's away from the linebackers.
So step one, was that you carrying the Lions flag, leading them out onto the field? Maybe not. But
no.
When it comes to Javon Katoy, right, he was a former Langley Ram, right? So BCJHL alumni, or JFL, alumni. So he started in junior, and yeah, you're right. He's a huge body, but he has missed a ton of time being injured. And that was his first game back after 3 weeks. So I wondered if he's still a little nicked up because the Riders were a little more, I would submit, a little more physical on the BC receivers than what they had been on other receiving cores earlier this year. So I was curious whether he was nicked up or not. We'll probably never find out. But you're right. Big target, big hands, lots of upside in that young man.
I would have taken the under. If someone would have said 3 interceptions for Vernon Adams, I would have said 1, 1.5, right? But 3. The other thing, Dave, that caught me probably going into half, and I was like, are they going to start using Stanbeck more? Are we just shutting that down? Are we not giving him that look? Are they worried to go to that? Again, we got to remember there's 2 teams always playing here, right? Did they have to go away from said game plan? But I was shocked because he finishes 7 for 27. Again, I would have hammered the over on that.
Well, and again, I can't take credit for this statement because it's too intelligent. But
your hair, it's all because of your hair.
not the hair. But the Rough Riders are intimidating the identity out of their opponent, was what was worded to me in a conversation that I had post-game. And the fact that the Riders have been so dominant at stopping the run, teams are coming in and just saying, okay, well, we can't run the ball, and not even trying, right? And so you're giving up on your identity, and that's a major win before the football game has even started, which speaks a lot to the scheme that the Riders have got on the field and the respect that they're getting from their opposition to change up who they are when they go to face them. And that's going to be intriguing for me with Winnipeg this week, right? They got Brady Oliveira, 1,100 yards. You have to think they're going to go ahead and make it a point of him being involved in their offense this week.
I was just going to ask you about this, Dave, too. Between your good luck mangy hair and the support from the Saskatoon, Saskatoon. There's a lot of Saskatoon people there, actually. Saskatchewan faithful. Were you surprised with the? We talked a little bit about this before you came on, with the crowd noise, because it wasn't a sellout. We've been at other games this year where the crowd has been similar as far as attendance goes, but it just seemed there was something different here. It just seemed the energy was just a lot more, and it just seemed like they were a lot louder. Just everybody was just manufacturing more noise. The faithful were really, really loud and proud in that one.
You could feel the energy coming from the crowd, and that clip that you played from head coach Corey Mace, I think, was bang on, right? Like, they forced a timeout or a time count violation on Vernon Adams Jr. And if you look at the number of times that he's got both hands over his ear holes of his helmet trying to get the call from the sideline, you look how tight they had to huddle up. Like, it was loud, and it definitely was the loudest that I've ever heard New Mosaic Stadium for sure. And again, just fans, once they recognize that, hey, we can make an impact on this ball game, they did not let up.
I'm going to get some hate texts. Mail would be awesome. I haven't had a letter. I haven't had a letter in a long time. Yeah, hate texts coming in, especially from anybody with a 204.
Okay.
I'm curious how much they get in Collaros' face early. And maybe that's just the hockey player in me. You know, series sometimes you lose an edge when you're going hard to the goalie. It happens. I don't know.
Well,
do you take a 15 early? Not like anything dirty, but do you get in his face?
No, I wouldn't, because that's only going to motivate him further. He seems to be a better quarterback when he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Now, the Winnipeg Blue Bomber offense, number 8 in the league in passing the football, right? So they have to run the ball, and I think if the Riders are worried about getting in the face of Zach Collaros, it goes against what their foundation is. So I think that you want to go ahead and just let your presence be known as opposed to letting your presence be felt, if you understand what I mean, right? Zach's not going to escape the pocket very often, but you just have to disrupt his launch point more than anything else.
Bidzy, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, I have to agree with what you all are saying. I think that as far as Collaros is concerned, he also is a guy that it just seems like he gets a little more jacked up, has better games against his former team, the Riders. So I would expect the best out of Zach Collaros in this one again. I'm excited to watch this game as well. We were talking about crowd noise and participation and energy. I know Winnipeg is just going to be just like that too. It's just going to be, it'll be a full house, and they'll be just nutso there. It's going to be, you'll be able to feel it through the television too. There'll be a lot of energy coming out of that stadium for that game.
I'll be listening on the radio. I'll be driving. They've been hyping it, right? It is good on them though. Sold out when, Thursday, Friday, whenever it did. It is going to be loud. And then we talked to Trevor Harris here in about an hour's time now. They're going to be practicing. There's going to be noise pumped into Mosaic. It is going to be loud. Because if the stadiums aren't that different. Now, again, send in your messages. If you're an architect and I'm an idiot, go ahead. But they're not that much different. They keep the sound in. It's like how Seattle's was built, right? Just built purposely like that. It is And if you would have, like we were talking about Bidsy, if Mosaic was sold out on Saturday, like there was still, I don't know, again, guessing 5,000-ish empty seats maybe in and around there. You had that many more people, like how loud it was. The people that showed up, like Dave said too, like you could feel it. And people are still texting in, where they were sitting and how loud they were being. So that on come this weekend in Winnipeg, Dave, that is going to be a factor for sure.
Labor Day rematch was the loudest game I've ever called. In the fact that, I took my headset off at one point just to see if I could hear Luke, and Luke's standing beside me, and we couldn't. So it is going to be an amazing atmosphere. I'm excited to hear what it's going to look like, and I know the Riders are going to be prepped for it. They've done this before, but it's going to be one heck of a game. And I'm curious, Taylor Swift's in Canada this weekend, and of course Travis Kelce was sporting the Zach Collaros jersey last week, so you never know. She's going to be close.
Okay, so as a super, if my daughter's listening now, she's like,
I know that's
possibility.
What it was for Gabby right there, right?
We possibility. Go Dad, are we going to Winnipeg? Hard no. Not driving, that's for sure. You're a superstitious guy. You mentioned that, so you obviously don't wear anything that you wore that Labor Day rematch.
No.
Don't eat the same. Don't go anywhere the same.
No, probably not. Absolutely not. Actually, as a matter of fact, no. It's gonna be the same. You'll see me at Portage in Maine again as I do my little walk and talk on game day, and we have a discussion about the game that's coming up. And yeah. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about a haircut for a couple more weeks.
Exactly. All right, Dave. This is a lot of fun. My one buddy, Franklin Delanar Romanowski, super superstitious, but now I know that you are as well, buddy. Okay, thanks for hopping on.
Hey, take care, guys. Have a good one.
Keep the hair growing. Go for a ponytail eventually, Dave.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dave. Let's start a poll. Bun. Dave Thomas with a man bun. I'll buy you a satchel for Christmas and some sort of bike. It's the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching that stream, sportscage.com, and as always around 620 CKRM.
Hey, Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's the playoffs. That means the games are bigger, and so is the 50-50. Huddle up to riders5050.ca, and you can watch the jackpot grow and get your playoff 50-50 tickets. It's a big Rider Nation touchdown with the playoff 50-50. Go green and go all the way. Everyone wins with the Riders in the playoffs.
License number LR240102.
5 hours now, I've been rolling through holes full of mud. And that's my kind of relaxation. Because I'm a BF Goodrich all-terrain TAKO tire. I was born to get right into it and out. Rock, sand, gravel roads, bring them on. I'm the all-terrain TAKO tire from BF Goodrich. And hey, I can go anywhere.
BF Goodrich Tires. Take control. See Quality Tire with 9 locations in Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca.
People judge you on everything. What you wear.
Nice pants, buddy.
Your hair.
Nice man bun. That takes confidence.
And, of course, your yard.
You should have complimentary snowshoes for when people use your sidewalk.
This winter, obliterate the snow and silence the critics with the Husqvarna snowblower from Prairieland Rental.
Is that Husqvarna? Wow. Also, I love your slacks.
Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. PrairielandRental.com.
Worried about your debt but don't know how to deal with it? My name is Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. I talk to people about debt every day, and I understand how stressful your situation can be. During a free consultation, I can show you how to lower your payments and become debt-free. I can offer you immediate relief from that overwhelming stress. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Welcome back to the all-new Sportscage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sportscage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Okay. Colson's going to chime in here. We're talking off camera. We have some VA from Saturday.
Yeah, well, BC's garbage bag day,
Okay.
Season's over,
Yeah.
clearing things out, so they're doing postseason media availability, and there's a few things that are said that I figure people would appreciate hearing, so...
Let's roll.
Gotta let Curtis pull the video up. But yeah, VA, I think he got asked just what the season was like for him, and kind of what the emotions were like over the season.
Nice. We're
now, just it's potentially my last game here, as a BC Lion, and and I just we all work so hard, and dating back to the off season and just ups and downs through this year, and it was tough. It was tough, but I love those guys that gave it their all. We had too many missed opportunities on offense, and that's it. We didn't make enough plays.
I'd like to know where he plays next year. Bidsy.
Yeah.
Like, I know when we talk to Glenn Suter, they'll be talking to Glenn Suter tomorrow, Dave and Maz. And Suter thinks that they can coexist there. And I almost feel like he thinks they can coexist long term. There is no way that'll happen. In my opinion.
And the other thing too about that, Shank, even if you could make that work, I don't think either one would be comfortable being the backup anywhere. I think they want to go to an environment, a team where they're going to be the starter. But even if you could make that work, even if their personalities were checked out of it and you can make that work, you can't afford that. I mean, that's just too much salary is going towards those two guys. So yeah, no, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, no. Somebody will luck out and grab VA. Calgary. Hamilton.
I don't know about Hamilton. I mean, who knows? Possibly, but Calgary is absolutely getting a new quarterback next year. Yeah.
Well, I was just saying, it's Calgary and Hamilton are probably your 1 and 2, but who's after that? Like, Harris is, 37, 38? So we need a next step plan sometime soon, and Edmonton's just up in the air. So if Edmonton drops the ball hard and just completely messes up with
Trey Ford
the law firm there, they might not have a quarterback, and so they have to scramble, and maybe VA ends up there.
I think
that sucks for BC the most, because 3 out of your 4 options of where your quarterback number 2 goes is all in the West
against you. Yeah, 2 or 3 times a year. One of those guys in Edmonton is pissed off and wants out, rightly so. I don't know if Trey Ford goes anywhere and is a starter though right away, or an effective starter. Like, VA's your guy. If you need a quarterback,
yeah. If you're acquiring VA, he's going to be your starter. Yeah.
Is Nathan Rourke in play?
Well, I think they asked Nathan as well how the season went for him, and so yeah,
I think we can all answer that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but again, we got it from him, so they asked him how the season was for him and the team, and he'll tell you here.
Yeah, obviously not the way that you want to end it. It's always tough losing, especially a little bit earlier than you would have liked, and so tough on that end of things. Personally, obviously 24 was a bit of a whirlwind for me and my family, and a lot of different stops. And I'm excited about the fact that for the first time in a while that I know where I'm going to be next year. I know there are a lot of comfortable things about this place, and a lot of things that I really enjoy and that Emily really enjoys, and so we're looking forward to that.
Do you see a world where you and Vernon could be here next year?
I'm glad I don't have to make those type of decisions, but I know I will be. So.
What did the guy ask? Is there a chance that you and...
Yeah,
he said, do you see a world where you could both be here?
Yeah, and his response was, I don't know. I don't have to make that decision, but I know I'll be here. So...
Yeah.
Well, I think he said, and I think he said he'd be happy with it. or maybe I misheard, but he said the right things anyway. I do not believe they could both be there, or they will both be there.
Like Curtis actually just mentions here, maybe there's a way that Trey Ford ends up in BC backing up Nathan as a safety valve. Because, like I said, I don't know where Trey Ford's going to go and be a starter. Calgary's got to push all chips in to try and get VA. Yeah. Hamilton,
but if they don't get him, Shink, then maybe they have to not lower their expectations for the position. Of course, your expectations for that position are always the highest, but maybe you're just like, well, we lost the VA sweepstakes. Now we got to go all in on Trey Ford. Maybe now he's our guy, and we just got to Dave Dickinson, former quarterback, all-star, Canadian Football League guy. Maybe he's just got to work with him. Maybe Dave can sprinkle magic on him. I don't know.
It's like the old Pat days. Expectations going in and expectations at closing time. Totally different. It's the all-new Sportscage with Bitsy and Shink. Streaming at sportscage.com.
This wasn't an animal, and it wasn't human either. Take that!
Sometimes you need to work outside in the cold. Maybe not battling a snow beast, but regular work. Prairieland Rental has heaters, generators, and all the things you need when you work outside. You can even rent skid steers to move snow and deal directly with the owner.
Take that and that!
Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
TNT Auto Body and Customizing, an SGI accredited company, reminds you Remembrance Day is a time to remember the brave men and women who stood up for our country in her time of need, so that today we can enjoy the freedom that so many of us take for granted. Please wear a poppy and then take a moment to give silent thanks. A special reminder from TNT Auto Body and Customizing, an SGI accredited company, located just off the highway in Indian Head. Visit tnt-autobody.ca.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
Hi, I'm Deb Davies with the Saskatchewan Foster Families Association, and we're actively recruiting new foster homes in your area. Fostering is all about families helping families, and our team is with you, providing ongoing training and support. We invite caring families of all types to imagine fostering. It's a rewarding way to make a meaningful difference in a child's life. Have you ever considered becoming a foster parent? Please reach out today at saskfosterfamilies.ca.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Keep the text coming. Chiming in, lots of people talking about where they were, sections. Mike, Tanya. It was busy. Roscoe, always clever Roscoe, talking about the Taylor Swift is in Canada. Does she? What you and Dave are thinking, or was it Dave that said maybe, Winnipeg Blue Bomber jersey and that Kelsey had on?
It was Dave. It was Dave,
last week. Yeah. Maybe. What if Taylor shows up in a Rider jersey? I don't think either of those things are happening, but good one, Roscoe.
No, that would trump it.
What happens if you take Collaros out of the game on a legit hit? Dola Gala plays quarterback. I think it's Robin sent that in. That's what I'm saying. Like you definitely get in his face. And I know they're a run-first team and all that, but I make it difficult for him right off the start. Like, we are in your kitchen all day here. Not dirty.
Yeah,
not cheap. In his face. And every chance you get to hit him, if you do, you're hitting him. And if the ref want to throw a flag on it, then they throw a flag. I'm not saying you dirty him. Just if you get a chance to hit him, you have to hit him. Just like if they get a chance to hit Harris.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same way at their end. I was just going to say, we talked about, or I mentioned, that it seems like Zach Collaros picks up his game, or just seems to have better results, or is a little more jacked up or focused or whatever it is when he plays against his former team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And Willie Jefferson, a former Rider as well, too. He gets a little more jacked up, it seems, when he plays his former squad. And that's coming, obviously, on the Bombers' defense. And he's going to be all over Harris. And as you know, Willie is a beast with a huge wingspan. And even if he doesn't get to Harris, he's got his arms up and he's batting balls down. But, they're both going to try to get after the quarterbacks and rough them up early, I would think, or at least put pressure on them and make them think twice about holding on to the ball too long.
In hour 2, we're going to talk about high school football and the provincials and the playdowns and the cities and all that happened. Fantastic weekend for high school football. But before we go, we got Brendan McGuire in hour 3, play-by-play guy of the U of R Rams. If you not quite sure what happened in that U of R Rams game that they were playing for the Hardy Cup against Saskatchewan coming up here, Saturday in Saskatoon, what a finish. 4 minutes to go, Noah Pelche down 4. There's some videos out on social media, and he just starts this slinging competition. Looks so good. The 3rd and 4 play where he hits his guy on the out, and he had the depth to be placed beyond the chains, and that ref made a great call on that. And then there was the 3rd and 12, and I was listening to it. Like I said, standing at Western Pizza there in Harvard, 620, having a slice with Spiro. Oh. And I got it up to my ear because I'm not smart enough to bring headphones. And I'm like, 3rd and 12. And McGuire's like, complete, first down. And I was like, and then I watched the video and I'm like, is that guy open? Like whatever they schemed there, whatever they did. Yeah. I'm really happy for Coach McConkey, who's come on this program every Thursday. We joked about it. Maybe I'll see you this Thursday. So we'll have him on again this Thursday. What they've done there. And then down their running back, Contende, was out.
Yeah, the big guy was out for this one, and he's a load. He's tough to stop, but they got some other guys that that can carry the ball for them as well. Marshall, what is his last name? It's leaving me right now.
There's a Savard. Right, there's a Savard back there.
There is a Savard and McEachran. I gotta look it up here. Anyway, they got a few fellas there though that can carry the rock, Shink.
And then the U of S Huskies pull out this crazy win against UBC when they're down. Perry Nias, whose son Mason was a stud quarterback for the Huskies for years, he's watching it and listening to it at the Rider game, and then we talk after, and they're watching it. His wife Kathy, and they're like, they won, and I was like, they were what? Like
they're down by a
weekend.
11. Yeah.
What a weekend for football and college football and CIS for both programs in Saskatchewan. And now they go at it. 2002 was the only other time these two faced in the Hardy Cup because the Rams shifted from junior to collegiate football or CIS or U Sport, whatever brand they're going with. And I think it was 99. So they made a quick turn to get to the Hardy Cup, a successful program. But it's been 22 years since they've played each other. Huskies got the better of that one. Neil Hughes was out, broken leg. So it was tough. We're going to talk more about that as we go along. Like I said, Brendan McGuire's in hour 3 to talk about it. Hour in the books. We're going to break for news here. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk hockey. It's been a full hour of football. Let's talk some hockey with Eric Francis for Southie Mainline Chrysler. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's sunny and it's 8 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op. Proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina. For those who can, Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. The lockout at port terminals across British Columbia is going forward later today. The BC Maritime Employers Association is locking out 700 foremen following strike action from the union. The association says the union's strike action has already begun to impact BC's waterfront operations, and strike activity can easily escalate. The union says its members went to work this morning but had implemented an overtime ban as part of what it described as a limited job action. The lockout affects the Port of Vancouver, which is the largest in Canada, moving billions of dollars in goods. Prolonged action could have a significant effect on Canadian supply chains. October was a quiet month for weather in Saskatchewan. Stats from Environment Canada show a handful of weather stations reported above normal temperatures for the month. Regina was one of them, with an average temperature of 6.8 degrees, which is 2.5 degrees warmer than normal. There wasn't much precipitation either, as most weather stations recorded rain in the single digits. Tributes are pouring in for Murray Sinclair, a former judge, senator, and chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Manitoba Premier Wap Kinew says Sinclair stood for truth and justice.
His career stands as a legacy of public service and a deep commitment to truth, fairness, and to justice for all people who live on these lands.
Sinclair died this morning in a Winnipeg hospital. He was 73. Canadian vehicle sales in October were up 8.8% from the same month last year. Desrosiers Automotive Consultants estimates the number of units sold at 162,000. Desrosiers managing partner Andrew King says the auto market was fairly strong, with only a couple of volume players seeing a sales decline for the month. They say the auto market is on track to hit an annual total of 1.8 million vehicles for the first time since 2019. Israel is following through with its plans to kick members of the United Nations Relief Workers Agency out of Gaza. The Israeli parliament has voted to remove UNRWA, claiming it has ties to Hamas, but relief workers say it will worsen the situation for Gaza civilians. Reporter Britt Clinette says the humanitarian organization is warning what will happen if they are ousted.
We heard from UNRWA saying that Israel's ban on its operations would lead to the collapse of the humanitarian crisis, which is already in a dire condition in the Gaza Strip.
UNRWA has denied the allegations and says it takes measures to ensure its neutrality. And maybe all you want for Christmas is an inflatable Mariah Carey for your lawn. Carey has teamed with Amazon for a collection of holiday items that includes an outdoor inflatable lawn decoration of her. It's a cartoonish version of Carey in a Santa outfit being pulled in a sleigh by 3 inflatable reindeer. It sells for $160. The collection also includes ornaments, wrapping paper, tree skirts, candles, and stockings. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
The luxury of Mercedes-Benz has never been more within reach with the fall demo event at Mercedes-Benz Regina. Save up to $32,000 on select models like the luxurious EQE 350. Get the premium performance and elegance Mercedes-Benz is known for, but with unmatched value when you choose certified pre-owned. Take advantage of the opportunity to experience the Mercedes-Benz you've always dreamed of, without compromise. Book your test drive at Mercedes-Benz Regina.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line X Regina. Serious Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, increasing clouds with a risk of late flurries and a low of -2. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with some afternoon showers or flurries and a high of +4. And then on Wednesday, becoming partly sunny with a high of +2. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's sunny. Winds are from the southwest at 21, gusting to 31, and it's 10 degrees. Regina is also sunny. Winds are from the southwest at 14, and it's 8. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need.
They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit KELLNsolar.com. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. All new Sports Cage on this Monday for Kellen Solar, like the big voice said, out in Lumsden there. If you need to get water from your well or dugout, you don't want to use electricity, you call them, because they got solar, and they can do it. Derek Bidwell, Barney Shinkaruk, CNC Production Factory. We've talked football for an hour. People want to talk hockey. Bidsy, WHL, we're going to talk about Dub a little bit later on, but it seems like, so the Pats haven't gone out there yet, but the Blades have gone out to BC. Moose Jaw's gone out to BC. Hasn't been kind. The BC division seems to be tough sledding for the teams from the East so far.
Yeah, this is kind of the well, it's the West Coast trip for both these teams, but it's kind of the come on to our barn and we'll show you how we feel about hospitality out here. Yeah, the guys that are making the West Coast trip thus far are not getting some good results. It's basically the toughest competition that the Blades have run into so far this season has happened out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, and they bond, right? They always say, you get on the bus, you get to bond, become a team with the guys and all that. Yeah, then you go out and get spanked around, and then it's like you start
legs.
You start hating guys. It's like, well, that guy gave it away again. We blew that. Let's talk hockey with Eric Francis.
It's time to talk hockey on the all-new Sports Cage with NHL analyst Eric Francis. Brought to you by South A Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. South A Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
I really like that parka. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, that is a nice jacket, Eric Francis. And the second thing, I asked Curtis if he could focus in. You do still have your Blockbuster card up there in the background. So everything, you're following suit as expected. Last night, I watched the first minute of the game. That's all I was able to catch. And it's 20 seconds in. Talk about a crap start, and you got Leon Draisaitl with a major league backhand 20 seconds in, 1-0 Edmonton. Oilers are rolling without Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be surprised. I mean, some might because McDavid's out, but they're on a 6-2 run right now. And Leon does this all the time. There's a long history of Leon basically saying, hey, no problem with Connor out. Everybody hop on my back for 2-3 weeks or sometimes 2-3 months, and I'll carry the load just like he does. Like, it's an amazing, amazing luxury that organization has, obviously, to have two of the best players in the NHL. And it's amazing how one will always cover for the other. Leon had 3 points last night, back-to-back 3-point nights. It's not a surprise that he's carrying the load, and they are rebounding. Meanwhile, the Flames have lost 5 of 6. Those are two Alberta teams going in opposite directions, as everyone in hockey predicted probably a couple weeks ago.
I was going to have so what has caused them to go the opposite directions? You touched a little bit on Leon Draisaitl and maybe the talent that they have in Edmonton that's able to step up when Connor McDavid goes down. But what has gone so wrong for the Flames? Or is this just reality setting in and this is really who they were anyway?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of reality setting in. Look, they had that red hot start. They were 5-0-1. I'm not going to say they were the talk of the league, but it surprised a lot of people. But everybody knew that this wasn't exactly a juggernaut, and this wasn't a season where they were going to go and shock the world. But the big thing that everybody wondered about this year with the Calgary Flames was the goaltending, right? I mean, that was what they thought would probably hold them back. Two young guys being asked to do something they've never done, which is carry the load. Even if they go 50-50, it's still not a workload they're used to at this level. Their biggest question mark, goaltending, has actually been their biggest strength. And that's what helped them get out to 5-0-1. That's what helped them keep a couple of these losses close. And that's what helped them last night keep that game close. They went down 2-0, and it sure looked like it was going to be an absolute spanking because we've seen lots of those in the Battle of Alberta. But they battled back, made it a 2-all game, and it was only because of a bad penalty to Pospisil that the Oilers were allowed to get a power play goal and win the game. So, yeah, Flames just coming back down to earth and getting outworked, which is not something that they're used to. That's their calling card. If they get outworked, they're definitely not winning because that's the only way they can win, if they out-hustle the other team.
At what point will it be close to trade deadline that everyone's going to start losing their minds and the Oilers need this and the Oilers need this guy? And if we forecast it maybe a little bit early out here, who's going to be available for Edmonton? 'Cause we talked about it before, the depth of some of these teams, and it's starting to show. Like Vegas right off the hop.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. Dallas is going to be no joke. Colorado's, they have borderline AAA senior team right now with how many guys they got out. The depth in that to come out of there again, Eric, is going to be hard. Like, at what point do we start, does the media and do we start fishing around to say, oh, it could be a destination. Edmonton could be a destination.
Oh, I think it's too early to start looking at that now. I mean, all you have to do is have some media guys start to Google who's a pending free agent, and then you'll start connect the dots. Look, it was a sexy topic before the puck even dropped this year that Rasmus Anderson would probably be out the door for the Calgary Flames. He's been their best player maybe this year, so I'm not sure he's going anywhere this year. He's still got another year left on his contract. Anyway, so he's not in that category of guys who will start to come up. But there will be a long list of guys who will be linked to the Oilers in particular. And you're asking about the Oilers. And, when they lost Broberg and when they lost Holloway because of the offer sheets, they got draft picks in exchange for them, which just kind of lessens the blow. And those draft picks are already destined to be spent at the deadline for some help at the deadline this year. There's no question about that. So they have some of the assets in terms of draft picks that people are going to want, and they'll be moving them, and you can guarantee they're going to add a defenseman. They're going to add a forward or two. They will be active, and right now the names, I haven't even dug into it. We're just getting the 10-game mark. It's a little early.
Eric, we're talking about some teams that obviously are not doing that well right now, but let's talk about this is something you brought up off the air earlier today, and I think this is a real nice one, real feel-good one, if you will. Two guys that are doing really well, did really well this past week. You brought this up. The NHL named their 3 stars over the past week, and 2 of them are fellas that know each other very well, obviously. Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin. Great to see those old guys light it up this past week and put some big numbers on the board for their teams.
It is amazing, isn't it? All these years later, and we as fans, the media, have loved every time those 2 guys face each other. It's been always Sid versus Ovi, whether it's internationally or just in the league. Who's better? That was a long debate for a lot of years. I dare say that debate still goes on right now. But because of their age, they've faded, a little bit to the background in terms of, people talking about them, but I love seeing I get the press release every week from the league. First star of the week is Ovechkin. Third star of the week is Crosby. Their numbers are ridiculous. Crosby was in on 7 of his team's 8 goals this week. The only one he wasn't in on was an empty netter, because only losers get empty net points. And Ovechkin lit it up with a bunch more goals, which now has people wondering, oh my, could he break that record this year? What does he need this year, guys? Is it 42 goals to break Gretzky's record?
It was
think
something
it's
like
that.
Yeah,
I don't think it happens.
Right now, as of right now,
I don't think it happens. Colson's looking it up. I don't think it happens this year. But
yeah, like going into the year, it was 42, I think, but so it's like 35 left. I don't know. Yeah, we got the experts looking into it, but either way, it's going to happen. It's something that people have mixed feelings on. I know a lot of people do. Hey, listen, no one's ever going to mistake him as the greatest player of all time, but we may have to start anointing him the greatest goal scorer of all time, and that sucks, in my opinion, for a lot of different reasons. But at the end of the day, Gretzky will always be so much better a hockey player than Ovi ever will. Sorry, I didn't mean to digress into that, but the point is, how great is it that at this age they're still the best players on their teams, and they're still the most important piece if their teams are even going to make the playoffs? It's awesome.
I think it was 42 goals away when he started the season, and he is 35 away.
Oh, I nailed it. There you go.
It's almost like you work in the biz.
Yeah, it's almost like I get paid to do this. Yeah, I don't think he can do it, but every once in a while when people start saying, he won't quite be able to do it this year, but early next year he'll do it. The race is going to be on this year. As the season gets down to it, people are going to be watching him closely. I just think he'll fall a little short, and that's okay.
It's like, I'm just looking up some things here as we talked about it. When Sid full bubble playing OV in the World Juniors and he had that tinted visor, like that doesn't seem like that long ago, but it is. Like,
I know it. Well, I got it up here. 2005 World Junior Championships. I have it on my wall. The 3 leaders of that team for Team Canada: Sidney Crosby, Patrice Bergeron, and Corey Perry. Wow. Those are 3 Hall of Famers. That was the leadership group of that World Junior tournament. And some people thought that might have been one of the best teams that was ever assembled. We can debate that some other day.
Who played goal that year? Was it Fleury? What year? 2005 World Junior?
2005 World Junior. Get our expert to look it up. I'm going to say that it's somebody who's not, who didn't have a big NHL career. I think it was someone who was really good in junior but didn't quite follow through. Maybe I'm wrong.
I got it.
I don't think it was Fleury.
I got it.
Justin Pogge. Justin Pogge? No.
2005.
That's the Calgary, and you're thinking, yeah.
2005 World Junior Canada. Nope. Good guess, though. See, the one guy played 5 games. The other guy just played 1. Regine Beauchemin only played 1 game.
Yeah.
The other guy, I'm going to say 85 birth from Calgary, Alberta.
Oh, this is going to kill me when you tell me.
Where else did he? Kootenay Ice didn't really cut it in the
Dan
NHL.
Blackburn? Dan Blackburn?
No. Jeff Glass. If you're watching the stream, we made him think. That's probably the hardest.
Yeah. He did. He paused. You paused. You held your breath. It looked like you were going to give yourself a nosebleed. And then after he told you, you just smacked your head on the back of your chair.
No, because I remember it was somebody who didn't quite make it. And Glasser lives near me here in Calgary. He's going to kill me when I tell him that I forgot him. And, he's got a Bernese Mountain Dog like I do. We got a lot of things that we laugh about whenever I see him. He went over to Russia and did really well, made a lot of money in Russia. And then about 5 years ago, came back into the NHL and caught fire for a little while and was a big story in the league. I remember writing about him, and I was so happy for him. He was getting one more shot. And then, anyway, now he just walks his dog a lot.
To be on brand, we had you go through your drawer a couple of weeks ago to find your Blockbuster and Rogers video card. It would be on brand for you to walk outside and see if he's out there walking his dog and bring him on the show. I'm just saying. Justin Pogge, which was a really good guess, because I thought you hit it there. He was actually the 2006. So, yeah, that was
1 year later.
Blake Como had a heck of a tournament there. Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon Contact, Dustin Boyd, Cambar. Yeah, that 06 team was good. Kyle Chipchera. You wanted to ask Bidgie about the Habs, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to mention this too. Like, while we were talking about, Ovi and Sydney doing well, and before that we were talking about teams not doing so great. The Flames in a little bit of a funk right now. Well, the Montreal Canadiens, let's talk about a team not doing well. The Montreal Canadiens, I believe, are tied now for last place in the East. When it's all said and done, Eric Francis, will the Montreal Canadiens be contending with the San Jose Sharks as the league's worst team, or are they better than this?
Oh, they're much better than this, I think. I don't even think you can compare those two teams right now. Like, they're in different stages of their rebuild. The Sharks are going to take 10 to 12 years to figure that thing out, and about 3 general managers. And you look at Montreal, like, I do think they've got some building blocks there with Suzuki, and obviously Caulfield's off to a phenomenal start again. Montembeault looks to me like he might end up being the real deal. Like, I feel like they've got the pillars that you can start to build around. They just got to fill in the spots around there. I don't see them being – I can see them being a lottery pick this year, but I can't see them being battling for last place in the National Hockey League. I really can't. I feel like there's a whole lot more there than what they've shown so far this year. I don't see it.
You know who's sneaky? And I haven't watched them play yet this year on television, obviously. Minnesota Wild. Like, what's their makeup?
Oh, yeah. I love that team. I really do. And the big difference this year is the goaltending, right? They finally – Gustafsson is back to being what he was 2 years ago. He's got stellar goals against average. He's been fantastic. And Fleury's a nice side piece for them and a great story and a great leader. But Kaprizov is one of the most underrated players in the league still, just because of where he plays, right? People don't, like you say, you don't see them play very often. But this Marco Rossi is a real stud. He plays with him. I just like a lot of the things that team has slowly built together. Eriksson Ek is one of the best two-way defensive forwards, best two-way forwards in the league. So, again, we don't see them very often. We forget about how good they are. Don't get me wrong, they haven't proven it much over late, but I think you look at teams that whether they're on the up or the down, they're definitely on the up in my eyes for sure.
It's one of those teams. And I was going to say you're very high. Like, are you Dallas last year high on them? Like, should I wager on them or no? Okay, nothing stupid like that. But yeah, you look down their roster, like it's not a who's who. And yeah, Joel Eriksson Ek, again, a guy that gets what Zuccarello's there. Like Jared Spurgeon, like solid play, but they just have kind of those 5-10 cent commons. And they're doing a job. And then Winnipeg, I'm going to talk to Ken Wiebe later this week. Like, I was wondering when we were going to start to hear Winnipeg's like we're getting attendance issues again there, boys.
Well, Mark Chipman had kind of warned about this last year and said, look, this is not sustainable. When the Jets went back to Winnipeg, they had 13,500 was their season ticket base in a building that seats, I think, 15,700. They were okay with 13.5 in terms of season ticket base, and then the pandemic hit. And coming out of the pandemic, they got smoked. And they're at the point now where they've got 9,500 season ticket holders, and Chipman was the one who came out last year and said, quite frankly, this is not sustainable long term. We have to build that season ticket base. We can't be scrambling every single game. Yeah, we sell all out when we play the Leafs, the Habs, the Bruins, but when we play Minnesota, we struggle to sell tickets. So if they can't start to get closer to a $13,000 season ticket base with a team that's 10-1 right now, I'm not sure if they ever will. And I think that's what Chipman was alluding to, that just saying, hey guys, straight up, I'm being honest, this is not sustainable long term. So something's got to change. The problem is in Winnipeg, it's just there aren't enough corporate headquarters and corporate money in that city to sustain it. And I worry about them long term. I'd be pretty comfortable saying that I think that the next crisis situation we're looking at in the National Hockey League is indeed the Winnipeg Jets situation. I don't think that's stepping out on a limb, and I think the chairman alluded to that last year.
Salisbury House, their headquarters is in Winnipeg. Really nice cafe, by the way, fellas. If you ever get a chance, how was the experience? Let's all wrap it and go back. How was the game day experience and the experience of the game and the stadium and everything, Utah?
Well, so that building, the Delta Center, is built in 91. That's a long time ago, right? That's up there with Saddle Dome kind of stuff. And it is in great shape. Like, it was built really well. They spared no expense. It still hosts NBA games. What I didn't realize until I got there is, that's their building. I thought, okay, you're going to get an NHL team, and then as part of the Olympics coming back to Salt Lake City, you're going to get a new arena, and it's going to be perfect for NHL hockey. No, that's not the case. If you've seen a game in Utah, you see it's kind of, you almost picture a Skoda in the corner of the rink because the wall is right behind the net.
Fantastic automobile.
I have no doubt. I'll take your word on it. They're going to blow out each wall this year and one next year, and it's going to go back and cascade just like every other NHL arena. But there are they don't sell tickets in the corners, the upper corners, unless it's a really, really big ticket game, and they only charge half price because they can only see one of the nets because the scoreboard is so massive that they put in recently. But it has a series of seats. I put a video out on Twitter that are the best seats in the National Hockey League. I think we talked about this last week, but I just think they're so amazing. But the city itself, good luck getting a drink.
What about after the game? Was it buzzing?
Yeah. Well, I ran into a lot of Flames fans when I was there, and all of them were whinging about the same thing. They couldn't get a beer without a passport. It's kind of a little game they play. Who carries their passport to a hockey game? And they say, locals can get it based on their license, but they don't accept the license of anybody from out of state for ID. And so they're just trying to throw another layer in to make it harder. We went out to dinner for one of the fancier restauants in town, and we had to constantly ask for another one. Well, I'm not making it sound like we had 100, but all we wanted was 2 or 3, and that was like, whoa, you really do want another one? Okay. So it's just not part of their mindset. But, the city is beautiful. It's sunny. It's open. It's a lot like Calgary. You're surrounded by mountains in every direction. It's a gorgeous city. But no, after the game, I can't tell you that I spilled out into the local pub with a whole bunch of people and had a grand old time. Although I will say the noise coming from the bar across the street from my hotel was shockingly loud. Like, I thought, of all the cities in the NHL where I'm being kept up by people coming out of a bar late, I didn't think Utah would be one of them, but there was. So there is hope. There is hope. It will get better.
So your server then, when you went out to eat, that was giving you the look when you said, "Could I have another one? Could I have another one?" You probably felt like saying, "Well, what about those guys across the street? They seem to be having lots of drinks. Quit looking at me."
Part of the problem, I think, is half the Flames team was in the back room, in the private room, and maybe they were drinking all the booze that was in there left, and there was none left for me. I don't know, but this server was like one of these. When you have a server that's just so good at what they do, and yet it wasn't part of her repertoire at all to be pushing alcohol. It was just very noticeable. And I heard a great story when I was down there. Apparently, they do have the odd theater in that city where you can drink alcohol while watching a movie, but you cannot show anything with explicit content while also serving alcohol, which I guess stands to reason as well. So when Deadpool came out this summer, they had a heck of a problem on their hand because it was deemed to be explicit with some of its content. So Ryan Reynolds apparently found out about this, thought it was so funny that there were these, like how many theaters could there be in Utah that serve booze? Not many, but that they couldn't show his movie. So he actually put out another version of Deadpool just for Utah so people could drink and watch it at the same time. Isn't that hilarious? I don't know what that costs, but Ryan Reynolds apparently thought it was really funny and made it happen, so good for him.
Have you ever golfed in southern Utah?
No.
It's supposed to be amazing, though.
No.
Like, that, you should do that trip in, like, March, April.
Barney, one of these shows, when we're a little light on content, we got to talk about boys' golf trips. You've been on a million. I've been on a million. I live for them. You do, too. I'm sick of doing the Bandon Dunes, all the big ones in the world. I've been to them all, it seems like. I want to find some hidden gems. If you're telling me that Utah is a place that I should be going with 8 buddies and we can have a great time, lighten it up, but also playing great golf at a reasonable price, please tell me more about this Utah golf.
Sportscage golf trip, southern Utah. You and I will figure it all out, but you know where we're going to figure it out? We're going to go down to Columbia Falls. We'll go to the Blue Moon, and we'll figure it all out there, and we'll get it all packaged together.
I mean, I love me some Montana. Let's do that, but let's also get your marketing team to put together a boys' golf trip. I'll fly in wherever we're going, but let's find someplace new. I'm in.
Yeah. All right. We're doing this again on Wednesday. Have a good one. Again, sharp jacket. Love it. And, thanks for everything again.
It's a shacket. Did you know that? It's a shirt jacket. It's a shacket. Throw that out there. Letting you know.
Looks good. Looks good. You can pull it off.
Informative program. Informative program. That is our NHL insider, Eric Francis. It is for Southie Mainline Chrysler in Southie, Saskatchewan. Worth the drive. Every time guaranteed. Right now, Grand Cherokees, 2024 Durangos, $2,500 bonus cash. And then for November, up to $20,000 off. MSRP, Ram 1500s, Dodge Durangos, Jeep Grand Cherokees that are in stock. Up to $20,000 off an SUV. You don't get that anymore. It's at Southie Mainline Chrysler. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Time for a quick break. When we come back, we're getting ready for Trevor Harris to join us, quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It is the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com.
The all-new Sportscage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
When most people look at windows, they look right through them. When the guys at North Home Windows look at windows, they see a chance to improve the efficiency and comfort of your home. They know old windows are drafty. If your windows are old and drafty, call North Home Windows. They're built in Saskatchewan for Saskatchewan conditions, meaning you'll get the perfect window for your home. And if you call now, you can still book a summer or fall installation. 1-866-362-6525, northhomewindows.ca.
Hospitals of Regina Foundation Home Lottery early bird deadline is midnight Friday. What if you win the Echo Lake Cottage early bird prize worth $775,000? This lakeside Ripplinger built cottage is awarded fully furnished, decorated, and landscaped, plus $10,000 cash, and be in for the $1.4 million grand prize package show home. Early bird deadline midnight Friday. Buy now at hrfhomelottery.com. License LR24-0046.
Let Degelman Industries help you manage snow with the lightning-fast Degelman Speed Blade.
with the ability to hydraulically position the wings up to 15 feet wide. And at whatever angle you want, the Degelman Speed Blade moves snow 5 times faster than a conventional plow alone. It quickly and easily adapts to a variety of wheel loaders, skid steers, and most ag tractors. It's a versatile tool that has a perfect fit on any farmyard. Visit Degelman.com for more information. Degelman, engineered tough.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Bidsy, high school football. So the provincial, there it goes, fell already. The provincial final, 6A, going to pit Regina Campbell, who beat Laboldus 28-20, against the St. Joe's Guardians from Saskatoon. They're the Guardians, aren't they?
Yeah, the St. Joe's Guardians. I was at the city final. I bundled up and brought some blankets and went to the final and represented the Sports Cage there at that one. And it was a great game. Was it? St. Joe's versus Holy Cross. Holy Cross had the lead, probably it was about halfway through the fourth quarter. St. Joe's with some timely defensive stops, and their running back, Lafreniere, just a shifty little guy, was just clutch at the end. Actually, both running backs, Shink, are small running backs, but very much like scat backs, like very, very shifty and quick. And at one point they announced, I think there was 3 minutes left in the game, that both running backs, the running back for the Holy Cross Crusaders and the running back for St. Joe's Guardians, both had 305 yards rushing each.
Wow.
For 610 yards total.
Wow.
Like it was crazy. Yeah.
So that'll be a good one. That is, I think, Saturday, 1 p.m. at Mosaic Stadium.
Yeah, and it's a great experience for these guys because if the Riders would have won, if they would have gotten to the Western Final, then, of course,
they are in the Western Final.
But if they would have gotten to be able to host the Western Final,
okay.
Yeah, then it would have been the high school game at Libel. This way, though, with them on the road in Winnipeg, these young guys, they get to play Mosaic, and I was talking to a few guys from St. Joe's after the game, and they are not so ecstatic. Even though it won't be very many people there in comparison to the seating, obviously, but they are just so excited to have the opportunity to run out onto the turf at Mosaic Stadium.
1 p.m. Saturday, that is confirmed at Mosaic Stadium. I remember, high school ball wanted to make the provincial final to play at Taylor Field on the AstroTurf. Probably good thing we didn't, but it was always such a big deal. 5A, we got PA Carleton, big school, Mike Medano's alma mater, Rich Pilon's alma mater, Dave Manson, against Bishop James Mahoney from Saskatoon, the Green Roof guys. That'll be a good one. Mm-hmm. The 9-a-side, we got 9-a-side A playoffs. Melfort beat Lumsden convincingly. I thought this was going to be 63-42, so Melfort's going to take on Tisdale. Tisdale-Delisle, the closest football game of the weekend possibly in Western Canada. Provincial semifinal, Tisdale nips Delisle 38-37. Heartbreak for those kids
the rest
that
of them
lost.
Are a little more lopsided, yeah.
I'd like to know how that one went down at the end. I was riding Southie Q-Par in the Highway 22 Storm. Heck of a year out there. They're going to play for Bronzo. They ran into a solid squad. Second half, I don't think they scored any points was the word I got. Waka, 38-22 over Southie Q-Par, Highway 22 Storm. Waka's going to move on to take on that power. Your buddy teaches there, I think, Clavette.
Yep, it's true. Clavette won their game versus Rosetown, I believe, 72-36. Sean Pryle and the Clavette Trojans, shout out to you guys. Good luck in your game against Waka. And the Waka School as well, too. Great group there, too.
72 points. Waka Clavette. Oh, when that game, it doesn't say where that game is. Yeah, that'll be a good one. What do we got here? 6-a-side, 1A. It's going to be Hanley and Hafford. Hafford all over Lemberg. Good run, Lemberg, playing for bronze against St. Brew. Hafford 62-16 over Lemberg. And then Hanley 48-16 over St. Brew. So there's a rundown of what happened. High school football in Saskatchewan, alive and well. We'll be covering it. We'll be covering it more as we go along this week here with our Friday Night Lights for Regina Motor Products. We got people emailing in hi@sportscage.com. So keep those coming too if there's anything that we should know. See y'all in the Sports Cage. When we come back, we're going to talk to the quarterback of our Saskatchewan Roughriders heading to the West Final. It is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
When it comes to duct cleaning, call Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They'll clean out the dust and debris that builds up over the summer. When you need protection, they offer a monthly plan for homeowners to get regular service done on their AC and furnace, as well as plumbing. And when it comes to furnace servicing, it's never too early to get that done too. Bronco will service your furnace and have you ready to go before winter hits. Consider it today, so you can rest easy tomorrow. Learn more at broncoplumbing.com.
Tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's the playoffs. That means the games are bigger, and so is the 50-50. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can watch the jackpot grow and get your playoff 50-50 tickets. It's a big Rider Nation touchdown with the playoff 50-50. Go green and go all the way. Everyone wins with the Riders in the playoffs.
License number LR240102.
The luxury of Mercedes-Benz has never been more within reach with the fall demo event at Mercedes-Benz Regina. Save up to $32,000 on select models like the luxurious EQE 350. Get the premium performance and elegance Mercedes-Benz is known for, but with unmatched value when you choose certified pre-owned. Take advantage of the opportunity to experience the Mercedes-Benz you've always dreamed of, without compromise. Book your test drive at Mercedes-Benz Regina.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back on Mondays. It is for Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan, installing residential and commercial solar for 35 years. They're local. They're trusted. KellenSolar.com. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. I know a lot of the listeners have been waiting for this. Western Pizza, perfect amount of toppings, all the Greek favorites you like. Call your local Western Pizza today. I'm sure this guy's had Western Pizza. Maybe after the victory on Saturday, joining us, if you're watching the stream, video quarterback of our Riders, Trevor Harris. Trevor, fantastic game Saturday. If you're a Rider fan, it was good. I'm curious for you, you know, after such a big win like that, like, is it right back into studying and watching tape and all that, or do you give yourself kind of 24 hours, enjoy it, and then get back after it?
Yeah, appreciate you guys for having me on. It's kind of a little bit of both. You know, like after the game, my dad was here, my mom was here, and so I brought my dad down on the field. That way he could kind of go in the locker room and kind of celebrate with us. But and you know, I enjoyed that through the media session, chatted with him, chatted with my mom, and I went back to the house and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just watch the game. I'm gonna just relax, have a good night, watch a little football on TV. And the first thing I downloaded was a Winnipeg game and watched it. And it's kind of like sickness at this point, you know. It's moving on to the next one. And you know, we were able to kind of flush the win the next morning, just watch like a short cut up of things that we could kind of get better at. But as you guys have been hearing us say, man, the job's not finished. You know, this was just one step, and we expected to win that one. And we're excited that we're able to get to Winnipeg, and it almost feels right that we go to their place, and hopefully we can take the torch from them.
It was, we talked about it on the show when everyone found out, and everyone's been messaging us all year long. It's like, Armstead and Ouellette in the backfield. Like, why? Like, why aren't they happening? And then, boom, it happens for that game. We were talking about it earlier in the show. For myself, I thought we were going to see maybe a little more running with both of them. But maybe that was always in the cards. Let Winnipeg think that as well, because you were slinging it. Like you threw it probably more than a lot of people expected with both of those guys at your disposal.
Yeah, to be honest, I just kind of take what the defense gives me. And, Mueller's done a fantastic job of preparing us all year and, doing things to kind of help dissect what defenses are trying to do to us. And I think we've just done an excellent job of converting the second and longs when our run game, doesn't quite get what we want on first down, mixing up the RPOs. But, it's really great when we've got AJ and Raquel, really kind of getting that run game churning. That way teams can't drop 9 on us. And it becomes really difficult on defense if we can get, stay two-dimensional on offense. And I just really like this club. I like where we're at. And I think we're a confident bunch going into Winnipeg, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Go ahead, Vince.
Trevor, you spread the ball around a lot in that game on Saturday. 7 different players, 5 receivers, 2 running backs. We talked about AJ and Raquel. Is that something you try to do to be diversified, or you hinted at it? Is it something that where you just go with what the defense gives you? But do you consider a successful day at the office, if you will, when you're able to spread it around?
I think so. A lot of people ask, who's your favorite receiver to throw to? And I was just telling us the open one. And, whoever the defense is, but I will say when teams play man coverage, if teams have the backbone to play man coverage against our receiving core, sometimes it is a little bit pick and choose, who's the best winner here. And it comes down to leverage. But at the end of the day, the defense is going to dictate where the ball goes. And, the best offenses I've been on are the ones that really spread the ball around. A different wide receivers featured, every week because, the defense is going to dictate where the ball goes. And we have 4 or 5 guys out there that can go for 100 yards at any given moment. And I would put our core up against anybody's. And we've got a selfless receiving core. That's the most important thing is Kean Schaefer-Baker's a walking 1,000-yard receiver as soon as he gets a healthy season. And, he didn't have the biggest statistical game, but he's happier than anybody because we went out there, got a win. And you can feel the pride coming back in this province and in this team. And we're an excited bunch. It's going to be a fun week this week.
That's a good look behind the curtain, right? To the selfishness isn't there on that team. What's with the don't flinch wristbands? What do we need to know about those?
You guys want one?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I made 200 of them at the beginning of the year, and I got 100 extras. So I need to fire some out to some Rider fans, man. But no, before the season, when Mace got hired on, and I kind of asked him, I said, is there some sort of mantra that you want for the team this year? And I wanted to put his on one side and mine on the other. And his is build it, and something we're building. We're trying to build something special in this organization, the culture that we have, the expectations, and really getting this fan base excited about, this team and, can really get behind us and have some pride in, wearing their Rider gear. That's kind of just something that I've taken pride in, is allowing the people of Regina to be able to walk around and be daggone proud that they're wearing the green and white. And, that's something that's kind of meant a lot. And so building something special was kind of Mace's thing. And on the other side, I put don't flinch. It's just something that's always just spoke to me of no matter what is going on, you trust your plan and never flinch. And if you can kind of just stick to what your culture is, what your core values are, no matter what, have that full belief, unwavering belief in who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, that's really what it's about in football. And so we were down earlier this year, I think it was in Hamilton, and we came back from 2 scores in the final 3 minutes and won the game in regulation. And I kind of just went over to Mace, I pointed at the wristband, I said, we never flinch. And it's just kind of one of those things where no matter what's going on, we've got a group that just won't flinch. And I think that's kind of the things that'll pay dividends right now, because the only thing guaranteed in pro football, and especially in the playoffs, is adversity will come. And how do you respond to that? And my thing is just we're never going to flinch.
No better place, I think, to give those away. We'll take them off your hands. Rider Nation, the official voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I guarantee, watch the text line here, fellas. Watch it light up with people wanting those. So, yeah, we'll take those off your hand anytime. Logan Furland, all the offensive line this year, what they've dealt with. Like, it's something that no one's ever seen it, where guys are coming in, defensive side of the ball guys are coming in. Like, unbelievable. Ferland on Betts on Saturday. Like, what do you say about him? How do you put into words what he's done? And he's Sasky, right? He's from here. That pride runs deep with him for sure.
I'll tell you what, man, there's really nobody on the team that you're happier for than the local guys like Logan Ferland, Mitch Picton. And Logan Ferland's done a lot of surprising to people because, he's kind of rose to stardom and become a prominent offensive lineman in this league. There is zero surprise to me. That guy is an absolute workhorse. He's an absolute stud. The fact that he's played center, guard, and tackle this season, that'd be like daggone me playing tight end, running back, and quarterback. That ain't never going to happen, So, This guy's an animal, and, he's one of the guys that I'm truly, truly happy for because he's a guy that's in at 6 a.m, leaves late, works a construction job in the offseason, and just a blue-collar dude. And he embodies what a Rough Rider is. And to me, he's a guy that motivates me every single day because I know he wants nothing more than to see the Rough Riders succeed. He's a guy that grew up a Rough Rider fan, and so if you're a Rough Rider fan, you get to play for him too. It's just like those kind of guys are the ones that really motivate you to get after it.
Geez, talk about a guy just size alone why you'd want him on your construction crew. Yeah, really good to see him and the O-line getting the respect and everybody understanding all the things that they had to go through this year. Trevor, question for you: loud stadiums. You guys are going to be going into a real loud one in Winnipeg. 2 parts to this. First off, if you could talk about how loud the fans were for the Western semifinal. It was deafening. We were talking about how hard they came out and worked and made noise, caused problems for BC. And then if you can talk about preparations for a loud stadium in Winnipeg.
Yeah, first and foremost, the fans for this game were exactly what you'd expect. When you hear about trying to play at Mosaic and making it difficult, that is exactly what happened. And I think BC tried to not do silent for the first couple cadences because I didn't see Vernon kind of, do the wave, and I see, you see the offensive lineman go out and raise his hand, do that sort of thing, and then they snap it. They tried to not, and they quickly got out of that. And so that was something that I knew immediately impacted the crowd. And that's what I envisioned when I signed here was I was like, this is the sort of crowd that we need to, put on for. And they did a tremendous job. And now preparing for a crowd like that, they're going to have some sort of impact. Now, what that is really up to us and how we prepare. And so we've already started putting in the preparation for it to make sure that we're, sound, making sure we're working our signals for any sort of miscommunication, really working the silent cadence with the O-line to make sure that we're able to mix up our cadences still because you get defensive linemen like Willie Jefferson, Jake Thomas able to time the snap, you can have some issues. And so we're doing everything we can to get ahead of that. And it's just a little bit extra work, not too bad, something we've done before. And so we're going to be prepared for it.
Is it true that run from Ouellette, the touchdown, that's kind of a last minute thing between you and him there?
Kind of. So I talked during the cadence quite a bit, just as reminders. It'd be like a white 80. Hey, you're going to play here. What? And a couple weeks prior, we called the same play a couple times, and they kind of stayed in zone coverage. And so we just kind of pumped out the screen to Sam to the field. And this week they adjusted and brought their halfback over to number 4 and covered us up. And so it gave us the weak side alley. And so, during the cadence, it was just one of those like white 80, hey, your ball, what? Yeah. He kind of knew. It was kind of one of those things.
That's cool. Mom and Dad sticking around for the Winnipeg game, or they go home?
They went home. They left. I actually got up at 3 a.m, took them to the airport. Their flight out was at 5 a.m. And so it was an early one for them, but they had a blast, and they were asking me if they should book their tickets to Vancouver. I told them go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That's
but
nice.
I know my parents; they're going to purchase insurance and whatnot, but I wanted them to go ahead and let's speak into existence. I'm big on that. I'm a big faith man, so let's speak this into existence.
That's good. Last one for me. Who was the quarterback, or who's the quarterback that you still look up to? Maybe try and model yourself after. And then when you were growing up, who was the guy?
Peyton Manning was one from afar that I would say that I've always looked up to. Just how he mastered the game in terms of it always felt like he was under control. There was no moment too big for him. And somebody that I've played with that I'd say I'll try and model my game after would be Ricky Ray. He's a guy that, I've really my first 4 years in the league, I was with Ricky. I got to see him work every day. was the same person every day. I'm a little more vocal than Ricky. You're not going to hear a bunch of words out of Ricky, and I'm maybe a little bit more, body language, emotion than Ricky from time to time. But he's just the same guy every day, calm, cool, collected. And I've always looked up to people that are the same guy every day, that the moment never gets too big for them, and you know what you're going to get from them each and every day. And so those two have really been guys that I've really looked up to a lot.
Last one for me, Trevor. First off, I've gotten a couple of texts here actually from some buddies, and they think that the Rider store should carry those wristbands. Build it, don't flinch, because they said that they said that's some pretty good advice. Actually, I wouldn't mind one of those for my boys. And you know what? Christmas is coming, so I still think they should stock up the Rider store with that. So I'll leave that with the Riders.
I'll talk with them about this week about it. I'll see if we can get some order for the Rider store. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it'd be great here in Saskatoon. A shout out to the Rider store across the street in Midtown Plaza. Last one for me. Obviously, you want to be playing your best football at the end of the year. Just talk about how, just the environment, the feeling, the vibe that you have in the locker room now as you guys continue this quest towards, hopefully, knock on wood, a Grey Cup title. But we'll talk about the West Final first.
Yeah, and shoot, I think the feeling in the locker room is just belief right now, which is all you can ask for. And, people talk about momentum. They talk about scheme. They talk about what's the plan going to be. They talk about experience, playoff experience. What's more important and more potent than all of that is belief, and belief in one another. Because as you know, if you really truly believe in something that you're doing, you're going to go harder. You're going to have a great feeling about it. You're going to be spirited. And the belief is really all you need to kind of get those formulated wins. And I feel like we've got a group that really believes in one another. And, it's not an overconfidence thing. It's more of like why is this a day off? Let's get to practice sort of a situation. And we can't wait to get the plan. We can't wait to get into meetings. We can't wait to go out and execute, learn from the mistakes we make in practice, shore things up, get better. And, it's just one of those things where I look forward to the practice days. But once day 3 is over and there's, that 48-hour window until the game, it is just the longest 48 hours. And so I'm not looking forward to that 40 hours before the game to build up, but I just can't wait till to get to the meeting room tomorrow to get to work. And we've got an excited bunch, and we know we've got Rider Nation behind us here. And hopefully we can come back, and hopefully people meet us at the airport when we get back and we see Rider Nation out faithful greeting us and sending us off to Vancouver. That'd be nice.
I'm telling you, I told you, text messages, they're going to start from all over Saskatchewan. People want these. So just get us a few. We'll give them out. There's some people that are going to Vancouver that they want them when they get to the Grey Cup. Hey, Trevor, again, thanks so much for doing this today. Congratulations. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, right? Now go and get it in Winnipeg so we can get to Vancouver.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Right on.
Thanks, Trevor.
Quarterback of our Saskatchewan Roughrider, Trevor Harris.
A great guy, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah, I got to meet him I met him at the launch of the Obsidian Green jersey nights and all that. Mm-hmm. Actually, same height as Dave Thomas. I got a picture with them both, and I felt like just a little guy. Just a little guy in that picture. But, yeah, we need some of those wristbands. It's coming in from all over. They want them, the Don't Flinch wristbands. So another hour in the books. I know we're up against the clock. We got news coming up when we come back. After another quarterback is going to join us after 5 o'clock. Darian Durant. It is the all-new Sports Cage on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
Eder Seed and Processing east of Regina is always looking for seed, particularly brown and yellow flax, and large caliber peas, including Forest, Comfort, Spruce, and Striker green peas. They're splitting peas for human consumption, and they're always looking to buy. Eder Seed and Processing is licensed and insured with the Canadian Grain Commission. Call Jim at 522-1668 for delivery options and prices. That's 522-1668. Eder Seed and Processing, just east of Regina off Highway 33.
Are you losing sleep over your debt, being hounded by collection calls? My name is Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. I understand that this can be a stressful situation, and I'm here to help. I can put a stop to these collection calls and guide you toward your debt-free future. All it takes is one phone call. Let's discuss your debt relief options during a free consultation. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasslotteries.ca.
Sometimes everything can look perfect on the outside, but inside, things could definitely be better. Luckily, Freeze Tallman has everything you need to finish those indoor renovations this fall. That's right, interior reno season is here. So head to Freeze Tallman for all the insulation, drywall, interior doors, baseboards, and casing materials you need to make your home cozy and welcoming for the long winter months that lie ahead. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's mostly clear and it's 8 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Capel. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Employers say they'll lock out more than 700 unionized workers in a move that the union says will shut down all ports in British Columbia until further notice. The BC Maritime Employers Association says its difficult decision to launch the lockout came after the union representing port foremen launched industry-wide strike activity at employers' terminals. Federal Labor Minister Stephen McKinnon says the government currently has no plans to intervene in the dispute beyond mediation.
I spoke with the BC MEA and the ILWU on the weekend and reminded them that it is their responsibility to their members and to each other, to Canadians, to farmers, to workers, to businesses, to get a deal. It is their responsibility, and they need to do the work necessary to get an agreement.
The two sides have been without a deal since the last contract expired in March 2023, almost 2 years ago. A Saskatchewan mother says an urn containing her son's ashes was recently stolen along with her pickup truck from a Calgary home. Shannon Garriock says the urn was in the vehicle along with her other belongings as she was in the process of relocating to the city. Her son was killed in 2020 and 3 people were convicted of murder. She says the urn has a silver trim and would appreciate anyone who can help her find it. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has some sharp words for Ottawa's new GHG emissions cap. Canada's Environment Minister has unveiled rules requiring oil and gas producers to cut emissions by 1/3 over the next 8 years. Smith says it's a production cap instead of an emissions cap and violates Canada's constitution.
Ultimately, this cap will lead Alberta and our country into economic and societal decline. And once again, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is putting reckless policy ahead of the needs and concerns of everyday Canadians.
Smith says she'll challenge the cap in court as soon as possible. The man who chaired the Truth and Reconciliation Commission on residential schools has died at 73. Murray Sinclair was the first Indigenous judge in Manitoba and the second in Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reflected on Sinclair today in Ottawa.
His commitment to Indigenous peoples and to all Canadians was absolutely extraordinary, and he will be missed by people from coast to coast to coast. My heart especially goes out to his family, to whom he was exceptionally close and of whom he was incredibly proud.
In 2022, Sinclair received the Order of Canada for dedicating his life to championing Indigenous people's rights and freedoms. It's 5:03, and that was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Hey, farmers, ranchers, and producers. The Acres for Education campaign by Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan is challenging you to invest in your farm's future by donating to agriculture education. Students today are our future workforce and consumers. Your donation will get students out of the classroom, giving them real-life experiences that will shape their views on agriculture, help inspire today's youth, and build a resilient agriculture future. Donate at aitc.sk.ca/Acres for Education.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service. For all electrical needs, croftelectric.com and all socials. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Joe Shaka.
Increasing clouds tonight, slight chance of a few flurries late, lows around -2, winds southeast to south at 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. This is all part of a weak storm system passing off to our southwest and south. Mainly cloudy tomorrow with a low chance of afternoon sprinkles of flurries, highs around 4. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. Mainly cloudy tomorrow night with some light snow and or flurries, lows around -4. Winds becoming north to northwest at 15 to 25 kilometers per hour. Partly sunny Wednesday, highs around 2. Winds west to southwest at 15 to 25 kilometers per hour as high pressure builds in off from our southwest. Partly and mostly sunny Thursday, milder, highs around 8. And a mainly sunny sky for Friday, highs around 9. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Joe Shaka.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 8, Swift Current 7, Assiniboia 8, Moosomin Broadview 6, Yorkton Melville 8, Estevan is 6, and Weyburn is 8. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly sunny. Winds are from the southwest at 15, and it's 10. Regina is also mostly sunny. Winds are from the south at 14, and it's 8. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Callan Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit KELLNsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. One more hour of the program left here on this Monday for Callan Solar. It's Barney Shinkaruk, Derek Bidwell. If you miss any of it, if you missed the Trevor Harris interview, if you missed Eric Francis, which was always a party, so much fun, Dave Thomas earlier in the show, you can go and grab it in podcast form. And you can just go back and watch it on YouTube. It's the beauty of it all now. Bidsy, it's all fragmented out. The CNC production company gets it all wrapped up for people. Great interview with Harris, though, right? What such a nice guy.
Yep. Yeah, just a guy, like I said, really easy to root for, and he's just so focused already. He was talking about that, he's just excited to get back to practice tomorrow. He probably was disappointed that today was a day off for the players. A guy that you can easily understand why he's a leader, not just because of his age and how long he's been around the league, but just his personality, why he's a guy that people look up to in that locker room.
We got from one quarterback to another here. We're going to have Darian Durant coming up in a bit to recap things in the game in the weekend and looking ahead to Winnipeg. And then also in this hour, a little bit later, we're going to talk to Brennan McGuire, play-by-play voice of the U of R Rams. What a way to Hardy Cup it up with U of S and the U of R. Yeah. And all Sasky Hardy Cup coming up on Saturday, Bidsy up there in Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Obviously, they're hoping for a sellout here. I think a lot of people are going to come out to the game. Shink, you and I were talking a little bit earlier off the air that, you know what, hey, we're getting some great weather here in Saskatchewan. I mean, you could still be golfing if anybody had the guts to still have their greens uncovered, because you never know when it's going to come. But it is warm. It's going to be probably double digits maybe this weekend. So a Hardy Cup matchup between the Rams and the Huskies in front of a full Griffith Stadium would be a great environment. And people then can just go right from Griffith Stadium straight home or to their favorite pub and watch the Riders and the Bombers in the Western Final.
Yeah, so much going on there in this weekend, and football is great. On the hockey front, I want to mention this. I want to get this out, and this is just kind of one of those moments to hug your kids just a little bit tighter, or if you're a mom and dad out there, give your mom and dad a call, whatever. A lot of people in and around Regina will know this. Haley Crozier's journey now. There's a Facebook page. Haley, just a beautiful young lady, golfer, golf scholarship down at Ferris State in the States. She's in the fight of her life. Just one of those freak, I don't know if it's a brain aneurysm, for sure brain bleeding, but it was just, like a week ago. And luckily her friend caught it, and you can go and read the story. But she's went for surgery today. I was just reading another one. She's in the fight of her life. Again, this brain bleeding, they're not quite sure everything there. There is a GoFundMe page set up and just support and everything. So Haley Crozier's journey on Facebook. If you're a Facebook or Meta person, you can go check it out. She's a really good golfer locally in Regina and around here in southern Saskatchewan. So a lot of people are following that. I just wanted to shout it out because I've been watching it. I know some of the family, like I said, just hug your kids, and everybody's rooting for Haley to come out of this one. It's always tough to hear those things. So you can go find everything you need online too, and I'm sure we can retweet it from the Sportscage Twitter for the GoFundMe and all that jazz. So I just wanted to get that out there. Talk some more football here, and it is time to go to our other quarterback, as I said.
The all-new Sportscage presents Double Talk with Darian Durant. Brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell. Servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. And Prairie Land Rentals. Whether it's for the farm or the backyard, Prairie Land Rentals can help with all sizes of jobs.
We've been doing this segment for quite a few months. Now, Darian, this is our first time change. Be honest with me. Were you having a nap?
I was. I'm telling you, it got me. It's usually someone who falls victim, and unfortunately this year it was me. So sorry about that.
No, all good. Everybody loves that kind of post-supper nap because it is 6:13 in your neck of the woods. You know what? It wasn't sold out. There were empty seats, but it was loud, and Rider Nation was there. We got a time count. We did everything, and we just had Trevor Harris on. Offense looks so good. What was your take on the game Saturday, Darian?
I was just so happy to see the team just come out and respond. With BC going downfield first drive and scoring early, that could really take its toll on you if you're not prepared. So to see the team respond to a BC score and just come out and play lights out, especially offensively, Trevor just does what he does best, and that's just be so efficient. And I was happy to see that. And then just to see VA flustered a little bit out there. I thought that BC's offense would be riding high. I thought they'd be, hitting on all cylinders. And for that Rider defense to fluster VA and have him looking confused and not giving him as much daylight as he would have liked, I was glad to see that as well. So just an overall good performance. There's nothing to really, turn down on with the performance, and just glad to see the team come out and be ready to play.
Yeah, as we mentioned, those fans who were in attendance, they worked hard, and nothing makes you happier when you're a fan, of course, when you think that your noise, that's what we did. We did that, Darian, talk about Trevor. You mentioned him being efficient. He spread the ball around a lot, 7 different players, 5 receivers, 2 running backs. Is that something that you try to do when you play? Is that something you would say is a benchmark for a successful day at the office, or are you just responding to what the defense is giving you?
I think you have to respond and take what the defense gives you, and I think Trevor did a great job of that. Whenever you can distribute the ball like he did and get guys involved early and, keep guys' mind in the game and not have them wander off wondering if they're going to get a catch or get a touch here or there, I think he did a great job of that. And then just the game plan itself. I mean, when you never know what teams may try to switch up when it comes to the playoffs, and, Coach Mueller and Trevor, those guys were ready for whatever BC threw at them. So, just when I was watching the game and looking at the highlights of Trevor's past, when he was in Edmonton, when he was in Montreal and in Ottawa, he has a tendency to get in the playoffs and get hot. And, so I was happy to see that, and hopefully it transfers over to next week.
We talked about it earlier in the show. As soon as we say, Raquel Armstead's in and AJ Ouellette's in, and we got both of them in, it's going to be run. And that wasn't really the case almost. And then we talked to Trevor about it. It's like, what Mark Mueller, he game planned and what they were giving us is what we were going to take. So they didn't try and force feed the run or anything like that. Were you maybe a little bit surprised, Darian, that there wasn't more run there? Or did you think what they did and that's the game plan you would have went with?
I mean, you know what? It's a chess match between these coordinators when you get into these big games. And maybe Coach Mueller had a thought that, whenever Ouellette or Armstead came in, that BC would try to load the box and, try to stop the run, knowing that it's a little windy, knowing that, you tend to lean towards the run game in these playoff games. So just a good job of him of having an answer to whatever BC did. I mean, it looked like BC came out and played a lot more man-to-man and took away some of the underneath throws that they gave up in the previous game against BC a few weeks ago. So just a great job of adjusting. And like you said, just taking what the defense gives you. That's basically what you really have to do in these big games.
We also talked about it earlier, and you hear this at every sport, pro sport, when it gets that for the superstars and the guys that excel, sometimes the game will slow down. The bigger the game will slow down. Did you feel that back when you were in the big games?
Yeah, for sure. And, believe it or not, teams don't want to throw too much at their players, especially defensively. You don't want to come out and play different coverages or do things you're not comfortable with. So you tend to get a lot of vanilla coverages, things that you're used to seeing, and it makes it a lot easier, and that helps slow the game down as well. And if you're a smart guy and you know what goes on in these games, BC knew that Trevor loved to take the underneath stuff a couple weeks ago, so they came out and played man. And just a great job of Coach Mueller, already knowing that BC would probably come out and be a little more aggressive and be in man coverage and having an answer, for that coverage. So great job by the offensive staff of just being prepared.
Darian, we talked a little bit about the loud crowd that you're going to get from Rider Nation in the Queen City this past weekend. We asked Trevor about combating playing in a real loud situation, a real loud stadium. The Riders can expect that, of course, in Winnipeg now. What were some of the things that you did when you faced that as a signal caller? And can it really compound if they get to you?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, crowd noise is definitely a factor. And it's something you want to do your best to try to take yourself out of situations where they're going to be at their peak. So you want to try to get into a second and short situation. Make sure you can move the ball, get some first downs. If the crowd gets, hype 3, 4 second downs in a row, that fourth or fifth, they don't have that much energy. So you want to try to get a drive going, keep them out of it. And, if you can put some points on the board early, you can kind of keep them at bay. But it's definitely going to be an issue early on. And it's about just going in there and just trying to maintain and making sure that you don't let it get too much and get the best of you.
You talked about, the defense controlling VA, and we talked to Dave Thomas earlier. I liked it, right? Like that contain. The contain was there. He did have the happy feet. Then it seemed when he had the happy feet and he was going to throw it, the Sales interception was textbook. It's like they baited him. It's like, open. Yeah. And then by the time he threw it, no, not open. Like what did that defense, two-part here, what did that defense do well through your lens, Darian? And we have to think Winnipeg's got to be a little bit scared of what they're going up against here.
Yeah, I mean, the defense did a great job of just playing off coverage. I think Coach Mace placed his DBs at 8 to 10 yards and off coverage. That way they can keep their eyes on a quarterback like VA, who is known to break the pocket and run around and do some things. So whenever you have a mobile quarterback, you want to be able to keep your eyes on him, because that way you're able to see when he releases the ball. So if you look at these highlights, you don't see some of the DBs, anywhere in the picture because they're just off coverage. So, Coach Mace does a great job at disguising things, making different coverages look the same pre-snap. And you can just see that get into VA. And Winnipeg does a little of the same. They play a lot off, a lot of off coverage and try to make things look alike and bait you into making a mistake downfield. So I think you'll see some similar things this week, but the crowd noise could be a factor for Trevor in that offense. So you want to keep them quiet early and try to have some early success.
Darian's receiver Samuel Emelis for the Riders had a couple of big catches, took a couple of big hits, one where he did a complete flip. Toughness from a receiver sometimes is that guy that doesn't care. He will go into the tough spots knowing he is going to get smoked. He's going to face a big collision with the defensive backs. That's just a trait that some players have, right? And maybe just talk about some of the players that you played that had that toughness, that dog in him that Samuel Emelis seems to have.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. I love his game. And if you think about early in the season, he wasn't really your guy running seam routes or running deep over routes across the middle. That was more for Schaefer Baker and your inside receivers. But when it comes to playoff time, you want to put your money guys in these situations to get them the ball, to get them going. And, that seam route that Trevor hit Emelis on was just a perfect example of it's playoff time. Now you want to put your guys in positions where we call those money positions, where you know that they're going to get the ball, and it's best you get those guys in these situations. So, of course, with me, you look at Dressler and Getty and, the guys I played with, we would definitely switch up things schematically in the playoffs to get these guys in different positions that they wouldn't normally play. It's also a tendency breaker, right? Whenever you see a guy like Emelis or Getzlaff or someone going, 20, 30 yards across the middle, it's something that you weren't normally seeing during the regular season. So it's a nice switch up come playoff time.
It's funny because there's almost like a parallel or a comparison to run with your guys that you had when you talk about Dressler and Getzlaff and Fendt, like all the guys bag, like there's no selfish guys on this receiving core. And Trevor talked about that, right? Yeah. Kean Schaefer Baker, he could go off. He could be, a guy out there, but he's like Bidsy, you talked to him, like he's spreading the ball around and the selfish it's not there, Darian.
Yeah. I mean, look, as a receiver, you need your other receivers to get you open. And if you have a guy who's, pouting because he's not getting the ball, he's not running as hard, he's not, being that good decoy route that you need. And so you need selflessness guys across the board in order to be successful as a receiving core, because, you're not just getting open yourself. You have to depend on these other guys to take the top off of coverage or to go underneath for you, the pull coverage for you to, get a pass downfield. So you need the help of the other guys in order to be successful.
Last one from you, Darian, and you can settle this one. We were talking about a little earlier in the show. I think the guys got a little too excited after the Western semifinal. They give the Gatorade shower to Corey Mace. Mace said, hey, you know what? Load up and give it to me. Load up and give it to me when I earn it. But, guys, a little early for this right now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's his first playoff win. In his first year as a coach, he has a home playoff game. So I get the excitement. But, Gatorade showers are special, man. And you want to save some of those for those special times. And, hopefully they didn't jump the gun and do it too soon. And if, just make it seem like it's something that you planned and do it again this week when we win this week. And then, we'll see how it goes. But I don't like it, but, we'll see.
I'm scared to ask you for a prediction. Actually, yeah, you've been wrong more than right this year, though.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Hey, you're an honest guy. We got to call spade a spade, right? That's what we do on this segment of the program. But how do you think it goes down in Winnipeg on Saturday?
Look, I love the way the Riders are playing. I think that they're just clicking on all cylinders. I think we can go into Winnipeg and win 100%. I'm not going to give a prediction. I'm just going to say that I really like the way this team is playing. I think that they're set up to make an amazing run this year, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they went into Winnipeg and dominated that game because, I'm not sure Winnipeg is, playing as good a football as the second half of the season says they are. And, I think the Riders are playing really, really great football right now, and I think they have an amazing shot.
It's almost like, having the bye would have been great, rest the bodies, but it's almost like coming off this game now and such a positive and playing so well that now, like, the Riders have the upper hand here.
It's like sharpening your knife, right? Like, sometimes it's good to not use it sometimes, but it's also good to get out there and get some work with it and, put it to use. So, I don't think this hurt the team at all. I think it actually helped them.
All right. It's 6:27 in the East.
You can continue the nap.
Won't happen again. Happen again.
Right on. All right, Matt. Let's talk to you next Monday. Hopefully we are Grey Cup bound when we talk.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Looking forward to it.
There's our weekly segment with Darian Durant. Double Talks brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell, SGI accredited, and then Prairieland Rentals. When the snow does come, you're going to want to go to Prairieland Rentals, Husqvarna snowmobiles. Husqvarna is what you want. Snowmobiles.
Curtis doing? I can hear him. He's
Curtis is talking. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Snowblowers at Prairieland Rentals is what I was trying to say. I thought he was talking to me. He's talking to Darian. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Time change always gets the best of us. Before we forget, staying with football and all that, did you guys watch any NFL this weekend? Curtis, no. Colson, no.
You're talking to the CNC production factory?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to you. I know you did.
Okay. I did, yeah.
The catches that we are seeing, the plays that we are seeing. Saquon Barkley has I think we might have a clip for that. But then it started on Thursday night with it was the Texans and the Jets game, and I'm just like pulling it up here. Absolutely, and I think it all started when you go back, Bidsy. These one-handed catches. This is the Saquon Barkley's backwards hurdle. If you're watching the stream, that was absolutely crazy. Like, God, I'm watching it live.
I've never seen anything close to that backwards hurdle, and just that's crazy. Like you say, it's just crazy. The athleticism is nuts. So, and you put yourself in a real tough spot. If you get that guy's helmet right in your tailbone, you might be gone for a while. Nutso. So creative too. Like, never even crossed my mind to attempt that. I don't have the athleticism, of course, of Saquon Barkley, but wow.
It's like I was watching it live, like just one of those happenstance where I happened to be flipping onto that game. And I watched everybody, I'm sure lots of people out, we've watched a lot of football in our day, live, wherever. And I'm like, did I just see that correct? Wait a minute. Is this like a live NFL football game that he did that? And then we had Jordan Addison, Vikings, not to the extent, but that was a sick catch for the Vikings. It started with Garrett Wilson's from the Jets on Thursday night, the one-hander, unbelievable. Devontae Smith from the Eagles had another one. And then I'm starting to think, because when I'm coaching the kids, right, like a lot of them, or even some of the guys, you're playing men's league, the guys are trying to catch it with one hand all the time. The gloves are so sticky. Like Bidsy, back in our day, like if you would have tried catching balls with one hand, your coaches would be like, you're running the hill. You're an idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But it all started with Odell Beckham, and I think that was the peak of his career when he did that crazy thing. And then everybody started doing it, and now we're starting to see, like 10 years later, these pros, well, these are the kids that were doing it in like junior high when he did it at the Meadowlands way or MetLife way back when.
Yeah, and you mentioned Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, it was that incredible catch that he made, and that's basically what he's known for. I mean, he's known for kind of a flashy look. He's also known for some pretty good stats as well too. But definitely that catch put him on the map. I had a high school coach tell me about it one time, and he just said, you know what? If you can make that catch, whether it's with the gloves or you practice it with your friends in the park, we're not practicing it during our practice, but if you make that catch, hats off to you. Great. If that's the only way you could make that catch, please do not put yourself in a situation where you're making it because it's flashier. You know what I'm saying? Like putting yourself in a situation so that it looks like that's the only way you can make that catch. No, when we were younger, Shink, yes, it would have been two hands and
look it in.
Yeah, otherwise something. Yeah.
Mr. Sawatsky, two hands, look it in. It was 10 years ago that he made that catch, 2014. Yeah, so all these kids that are now, right,
or 11.
Young pros, they were 13, 14 years old. I just wanted to talk about that. Let's take a quick break. We still have more to come. In a little bit here, we got Brendan McGuire, voice of the Regina Rams, talk about that crazy win for the Rams to get to the Hardy Cup. It is the all-new Sports Cage on the home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Your finances change as life changes, like when you get married, start a new job, or welcome a new member to your family. Each one of these milestones comes with their own unique financial challenges. We're here to help you make sense of them and keep you on the path to meet your goals. Hi, I'm Douglas Stroud, your Sun Life advisor. Call me at 306-550-5331 or email douglas.stroud@sunlife.com. We're here to help navigate life's changes.
People judge you on everything. What you wear.
Nice pants, buddy.
Your hair.
Nice man bun. That takes confidence.
And, of course, your yard.
You should have complimentary snowshoes for when people use your sidewalk.
This winter, obliterate the snow and silence the critics with the Husqvarna snowblower from Prairieland Rental.
Is that Husqvarna? Wow. Also, I love your slacks.
Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. PrairielandRental.com.
At McDougall Auctioneers, we're not just selling heavy equipment, we're powering progress. Hi, this is Riley McChesney. Our online auctions bring together the best machinery and the biggest network of buyers. Whether it's construction marvels or industrial giants, we sell with expertise and a commitment to value. Choose McDougall Auctioneers for auctions that move as fast as your business does. McDougall Auctioneers, 1-800-263-4193 or visit us at mcdougallauction.com.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick's Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
Full bore? What does that even mean? Like a full animal? I guess it's better than a half bore, especially if you're the bore. Or is it a full bore like every team's meeting? What's never a bore is driving on slick Saskatchewan winter roads. At least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer True North winter tires. Cooper Discoverer True North winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Discoverer True North winter tires.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Barney Shinkrook and Derek Bidwell back on this Monday for Keln Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. One more football note that I forgot to mention about the NFL. I think a lot of people know this by now. The Saints fired Dennis Allen today, so another coach bites the dust. You got some high school football news, Bidsy?
Just an update. I heard from the Clavette head coach, Sean Prowl. You mentioned a buddy of mine. They are the Cougars, the Clavette Cougars, and the game is in Clavette. They are hosting Waka on Saturday, so it will be the six-man 2A provincial there. Clavette Cougars and Waka final on Saturday. There you go.
If I know that town of Clavette, it will be a buzzing for that one. It'll be a good one to go. Be a good game to go watch for sure. Regina Pats, they're in action. Excuse me. Sportscage proud to be the sponsor of the Regina Pats, and you hear all the games right here 3 times this week. Home to Prince Albert tomorrow, Friday at home to Brandon, and Sunday home to Lethbridge. So Dante DeCario will have everything you need there. Busy week, WHL, like we talked about earlier, Bids.
Yes, here's your WHL East Division weekend recap. 6 teams to go through here. The Pats hosted the second-best team in the East, the Medicine Hat Tigers, on Friday. They were in tough against the Tigers offense, who had 52 shots on goal in that one as they won it 10-5. Anthony Wilson had 2 goals in the loss for the Pats. Saturday, they traveled to Swift Current to face the Broncos, and this time they led the shots on goal with 39-32, but they lost that one 4-2. The Pats hit in, as you mentioned, Barney. Next game, Pats host Prince Albert on Tuesday. Moose Jaw, the Warriors, and the Blades are on their West Coast road trips, as we mentioned earlier in the show. The Warriors were in Victoria on Friday and won that game 4-2. Saturday, the Warriors took the ferry over to Vancouver, and they lost to the Giants 6-2, so 1-1 on the weekend. The Warriors are next at home on Friday to host Lethbridge. Saskatoon, the Blades were in Vancouver on Friday to face the Giants, and after 48 shots on goal, they lost that game. That had 13 goals in that one. 7-6 was the final.
Old school.
To the Giants. Yeah, exactly. Barn burner there. Saturday, the Blades were off, and on Sunday, the Blades lost 5-4 in overtime to the Victoria Royals. They finished with a point and an overtime loss. Blades' next game is Tuesday in Prince George. Swift Current, the Broncos were in Prince Albert on Friday, and thanks to 3 goals from Brady Burney, his hat trick led them to a 9-4 victory. Saturday, the Broncos beat the Pats. As we mentioned, 2 wins for the Broncos on the weekend. The Broncos don't play again until Saturday when they host the Edmonton Oil Kings, rather. Prince Albert, the Raiders lost 9-4 to the Broncos on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, the Raiders were off. Their next game is Tuesday when they are in the Queen City to face the Pats. We mentioned that. Brandon, last one. The Wheat Kings had Friday off. Saturday, the Wheat Kings played well at both ends of the ice. They shut out the Tigers and their high-powered offense 3-0. Next game for the Wheat Kings is Friday in Regina when they face the Pats. And, Barney, there is your WHL East Division weekend recap.
We will have the SJHL report tomorrow. Dave and Maz will have that with Benny Walchuk. They're doing the showcase SJHL Showcase in Warman tomorrow and Wednesday. So they'll have a rundown of that, and then the weekend ahead in the SJHL. It's always for Southie Mainline Chrysler. New king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Also got to give a shout out here while we're doing some housekeeping. The Rough Rider Foundation 50-50. We're doing it again. We're doing it again this weekend because the Riders are playing. So we are doing a 50-50. Riders5050.ca. You have until Thursday at 5 p.m. to get in on the early bird action, and it's a good one. It's a good one. We got San Francisco and the LA Rams in San Fran. Professional football. 2 flights, 2 tickets to the game, 3 nights accommodation at the Argonaut Hotel in Fisherman's Wharf. Fisherman's Wharf is a nice, if you've never been there, but it's, I heard it's gotten a little seedy down there, but it's beautiful. Alcatraz down there. You got to do the night tour of Alcatraz. If you got to do the night tour, or you can just take $9,000 cash if you don't feel like going and hanging out with the people in Swift Current in San Francisco, the friendly city. That's
easy mistake. Pretty similar.
Yeah, no, Swift Current's way nicer than San Francisco these days, and they have Wongs. Argonaut Hotel, Fisherman's Wharf. Take $9,000 cash, or you can go to San Fran. Man, did I butcher that. Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation. Again, you get your tickets at riders5050.ca. Jeez. Thursday at 5 o'clock. I'm going to really read that one better on Wednesday. I'm going to make sure.
Get it out of the park.
Let's talk CIS football here in a bit. What a weekend. Now we got the Hardy Cup. It's all Sasky. It's Huskies, it's Rams. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk to Brennan McGuire. It's the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com.
You know something? It's like selling a six-pack with only 5 beers in it. Wood Country Woody here, reminding you that unlike some other places, Wood Country Garage Packages contains everything you need, right from the start, including appearance-grade lumber, all your nails and screws, and walk-in doors with cladded jambs. Building a garage? It's one and done with Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Shop online. wood-country.com.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles, to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Wondering what your equipment is really worth? Hi, I'm Riley McChesney from McDougall Auctioneers, your go-to appraisal experts. With our finger on the pulse in today's market, we offer the most accurate, up-to-date valuations for your machinery. Planning to expand or thinking of selling? Get the real value of your equipment with McDougall Auctioneers. Over 42 years of expertise at your service. Call us at 1-800-263-4193 or visit us at mcdougallauction.com.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's the playoffs. That means the games are bigger, and so is the 50-50. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can watch the jackpot grow and get your playoff 50-50 tickets. It's a big Rider Nation touchdown with the playoff 50-50. Go green and go all the way. Everyone wins with the Riders in the playoffs.
License number LR240102.
It's been a long day. I don't want to cook. I'm going to surprise the family with a pizza night. I'll be a hero. My family might actually pick me up in celebration and carry me around the kitchen, and they'll chant my name, and I'll be celebrated until the end of time when I...
This isn't Western Pizza. I thought you loved us.
Don't pizza fail. Get what they want. It's gotta be Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
We love Saskatchewan, and we love hearing from our listeners. Call or text us, 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Bidsy, we've been talking about it all day, along with the Rider game. What a matchup we got in the Hardy Cup. U of S Huskies and the Regina Rams. It's how it should be, right? A Sasky weekend, a Sasky football weekend. They're going to boogie down up in Saskatoon. It's going to be good. So they played one Hardy Cup against each other. We talked about that. 2002, Huskies prevailing. Neil Hughes, star running back for the Rams, on the sideline in a wheelchair with a broken leg. So it's payback 22 years later. Man, I'm kind of now remembering that game, 2002, covering that game, being around that game. Huskies had an absolute wagon. Rams were only 2 or 3 years into the U Sport realm. But yeah, like I said, it's just perfect, right? Sasky versus Sasky.
Yeah, absolutely. Huskies and Rams in the Hardy Cup at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. It will be a big one here. Everybody's talking about it already in the city, of course. Hoping that it can be a sellout. It should be some pretty good weather too, Shink. And as you and I both know, and everybody else in Saskatchewan, it could be a whole lot worse for this time of year. It's actually kind of balmy. It's some good weather actually that we're having for this one.
Yeah. When I look at the quick, 10 degrees on Saturday. 10 degrees in November for a tackle football game in Saskatchewan. Let's be honest. You don't get that all the high school provincials that are going on as well. It's going to be great. Okay. Yeah. So the game is 12:45 pregame show, CKRM 2, 1 o'clock kickoff. The man who will be calling it again, who called the game for the Rams this past weekend in Manitoba, the Thriller. Let's bring him in on the Western Pizza guest hotline. He likes his Western Pizza. There's no doubt about it. Brendan McGuire is standing by. Okay, Brendan, do we just want to start with the final 4 minutes and that drive down 4 and paint the picture? What's going through your mind there?
Well, on the drive right before that, the Bisons were not really moving the ball. They had a 3rd and long coming up. It was going to be 3rd and 10. And then there was the late flag for the roughing the passer call, and they nailed Jacob Dukinowicz with it. One of those great D linemen that the Rams have. That D line is the backbone of that entire team. So Manitoba gets 15 yards, first down at their own 50, and they just marched it down the field into the end zone to go ahead 25-21. And you're just kind of getting that feeling where the defense, who has bailed this team out time and time again all year, was just running out of steam again, like they've done earlier in the season. But then when Noah Peltier needed the drive of his life, he had it. He put it together. They converted on 3rd down twice, on one that was a 3rd and 4, one that was a 3rd and 12, reminiscent of the Vanier Cup. The Huskies lost once when they gave up a 3rd and 18, but we won't revisit all that. It was really something to see, where throughout the year, I mentioned that the defense has bailed out the offense. Last week or the week before, it was the special teams who really blew a tire, 11-point swing on that blocked field goal return touchdown. But this was a rare occasion where it was the offense bailing out the defense at the last moment. Gave you kind of that team feeling more than anything.
Okay, the drive though, the play, the third and 12 we can get to. The 3rd and 4, Peltier throws the out. I don't know who it's to, but he gets just enough depth. And it's actually a good call by the ref to find out that he did have depth, past the sticks, drive continues. That was a pressure throw. The 3rd and 12, I don't exactly know watching the replay, because I was listening to you. I was in Harvard 620 Lounge, and I'm with Spiro from Western Pizza, a couple other guys, and I'm like, okay, they're marching. They're marching. The 3rd and 12, the guy was wide open. I don't know if that was scheme, the route, somebody blew something there. Do you know what happened there?
I think they blitzed him. I think they just sent a little too much pressure. One thing that we have noticed in the last 3 weeks is Noah has become very good at reading blitzes, maybe as good as just about any other quarterback in the conference. I'm not saying that he's as good as any other quarterback in the conference. This offense is not as prolific as the Huskies or a few others, but that is one area that he has really upped his game in the last, I'm going to say, 3 weeks. And boy, did it show on that play and on that last drive.
Brendan, you're talking about the offense, and you and I have called all the Sasky games together. Well, you've called them, and I've been the color commentator for them, so we've seen them a lot. And would you say that the offense in this one, in order for them to be successful against that Huskies defense, you mentioned that they're not the most prolific, that they have to win the battle in the trenches, their offensive line does, and they have to have a very solid running game in order for them to come through and advance after this game?
Yeah, you're right about the battle in the trenches, but I don't worry about them too much there, right? Like this defense, I have no problem saying is as good as any defense in the conference. The offensive line might be as good as any offensive line in the conference, but you're right about the running attack. That's going to be huge. Quite frankly, it's almost too bad that it isn't more seasonable for the weather forecast that we're going to get on Saturday, because bad weather would help the Rams in a big way. To stop that Husky passing attack. But you're right about the run game bids. If Christian Ketendi can go, if he's not able to go, that's a big loss. But their other running backs are capable. We've seen Marshall Erickson do it before. Olivier Savard should be pretty fresh. He hasn't had a lot of carries all season or even in the last couple of weeks. And I think those two can get it done, given the fact that this offense has started to pick up their game in the last 2 weeks. And when I say the offense picking up their game, the passing attack, they've got Deshaun Mill re-involved again.
Okay, we're talking about the offense. Let's rewind back in the game. It was like the block punt, and the Rams were in trouble. And the Bisons, where did that start? That was inside the 10-yard line, wasn't it, McGuire?
Yeah, it was on the 4-yard line is where the Bisons were set up first and goal, and the Bisons came away with nothing. So you're right. That was a huge play right there. And again, it was connected to that overriding theme where the regular season finale, special teams was a disaster. We talked about the 11-point swing, the failed punt fake attempt, the turnover on downs. They gave up a punt fake first down. Like, it just was awful. Whereas in this game, they did have that block punt that you're referring to, where the Bisons were set up on the doorstep and the defense shut them down. It was a great, not quite a goal line stand, but really a goal line stand to turn them away with no points at all. And ironically, later in the game, it was the special teams who got the fumble on the return guy, Mike O'Shea Jr., who is usually, he's as sure-handed as Weston Dressler back there, but not on this play. And that was really your TSN turning point, I thought. There were two big turning points in that fourth quarter, and I thought that was one of them.
No free plugs for TSN. But it's fascinating, and we talked about it last week, Bidsy, as well, like football. Especially, it doesn't matter, pro as well, but amateur football, CIS, the high school, where things just happen, and it's one game. And really, Brennan, the Huskies probably shouldn't be hosting on Saturday either, right? That was a wild one in BC.
Yep, and they got a lucky bounce recovering that onside kick, and also the fact that Isaiah Knight was not able to finish that game. He's probably the best running back in all of Canada West, maybe U Sport. There aren't too many U Sport running backs getting a look from the NFL the way he's been getting. So you're right, they got fortunate. They were heavy underdogs. When the game ended in Winnipeg, instantly I'm thinking, okay, everybody's heading to Vancouver. And then I put the game on, and just the way it ended, it was a wild finish. And it's almost like it was just meant to be. Like, this Saturday is probably going to be, I'm not going to say it's the biggest football day in Saskatchewan's history. It's not. There have been days where Vanier Cups have been won and Grey Cups won. But I cannot think of a bigger day where multiple games have been happening with more on the line than this Saturday.
Yeah, and Bidsy, back to you. You talked about it. I would be shocked if it's not sold out and they're not doing the old, hey, I know a guy, he's working that gate over there, let's go there. People will just be trying, especially with the weather the way it is. Like Griffith is going to be jammed.
I believe so too, Shink. I think this one's going to have a huge attendance, and which it should for this Battle of Saskatchewan with the right to go to the Hardy Cup. Brendan and I are going to be there early. We'll be watching everybody file in and pack the place. I believe it will be like that, and especially with the times, right?
Yeah.
The times and the temperature. It's the TNT. It's the times and the temperature. It's a 1 o'clock start at Griffith Stadium. People get there a little bit early, get all situated, get their food and beverages all in them and get going. And then after that, everybody will be home in order to, in a lot of time, to sit down and watch the Bombers and the Riders. So I'm expecting a sellout. I think they're preparing for it at Griffith Stadium.
I'm trying to navigate through my calendar and Team Shink's Saturday to figure out how I can get up there to watch this, because this is one of those ones, right? You got to go and watch it, right? McGuire, it's not like, what is it, 2002, the last time these two played in the Hardy Cup. So obviously it doesn't come around every year. It's been 22 years. Like you got to go if you're in the area.
Yeah, there will be a lot of alumni, a lot of people who have friends, connections, relatives, whatever, playing on the team. I did hear from one guy who actually is driving up, who's just a fan. He's going to come to the game, and then he's going to go check out a bar after to watch the Rider game. And I said, sounds like that guy has spirit, which kind of feels lacking, right? Everybody has the big screen TV. It's really, really easy to be entertained at home. But it is set up really, really well with the game at 1 o'clock. There should be a full hour in between the end of the game and I guess a full 90 minutes before kickoff of the Rider Winnipeg game.
You know what? This would be nice for the hotel. I was going to say this might just be nice for the hotel industry in Saskatoon. If a whole bunch of people are like that guy from the Queen City, come to Saskatoon for a sleepover. Just come for a sleepover. Go to Griffiths for the game and then check out a local establishment and then have a sleepover in Saskatoon.
Right on. Call the Senator. See what they got available, or the Westgate Inn. McGuire, thanks so much. Good job. Have fun on Saturday. Take it all in. Thanks for hopping on, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
See you on Saturday, pal.
Bidsy, that's it for us. It's been a good one. Another fun show. Yeah, that game, again, 12:45 pregame. You guys got a little 15-minute pregame. Get everyone warmed up. Then 1 o'clock kickoff on CKRM 2 on the Deuce. You can find it online. You go to our website. It says CKRM 2. Pretty easy to navigate around. That'll be good. Good show, buddy. It's been a lot of fun again.
You too, pal.
Take it easy up there. This weather's throwing me for a loop, right? Like no snow. I know, like the winter tire guys, the snowblower guys, they need to start moving some product here.
They got to get busy. There's actually some people here that are talking about some establishments, if it does get into double digits on the weekend, are going to open up their patios. So it just doesn't seem like November. But hey, I'll take it. I'm not complaining.
Wild and crazy stuff. Okay, that's it. That is the Sports Cage for this Monday. Dave and Maz got you tomorrow. They got a number of things. They're talking Winnipeg Sports Talk Radio. They're going to be talking about the big game and a whole lot more. For the CNC Music Factory, for Bidsy and myself, thanks so much. I'll see you again on Wednesday.
Looking for a way to relax after a long day? Come on. Tired of being notified by life's bells and whistles?
Yeah, I'm going to need that